Welcome, connoisseurs of fine common cardboard, to today's live stream and to this Let's Rebuild with my good friend, my co-host, PDH, cPDH extraordinaire, Clay, the Chad himself. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to have you all here today. How you doing, Clay?
Doing all right. Started a few minutes late. That's my fault. My house was built in 1947 and only has one bathroom, and my wife was in it, so I had to go outside.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm grateful you're here, and I'm glad to have all of you, everyone who's joined us for this live stream today. And I think both Clay and I can speak for you on this one, are really excited to get back to our roots um, with Crackling Drake. For those of you who maybe weren't playing cPDH or involved in the home base, maybe 2.5 years ago, Clay and or I think initially I'd started first, just maybe like a couple months ahead of you, and I had taken
Mhm.
on Crackling Drake as my first project and was swimming upstream pretty hard. There was a lot of detractors, a lot of folks who didn't think it was going to stand up to what everything else that was happening. Because back then, the meta looked really, really different. And I was kind of testing an early version of the hypothesis that I use for a lot of the decks that I build now. And when you came along, you were saying, "Wow, Crackling Drake is really interesting," and you took a slightly different approach. We found a lot of kinship there. Found ourselves kind
Mhm.
of battling the same social forces, and that was really the nascent beginning of our friendship and of this collaboration. So,
Yeah,
I
all of
mean,
this.
all of this like kind of comes back to Crackles. So it's very exciting to be here doing this with you, and yeah, this is really really fun. So. For everybody who's joining us, let us know if the audio is coming through loud and clear. Let us know how you're doing. If there's any cards you're excited about for CMM, for Commander, or sorry, for WoW, for Wilds of Eldraine. You can see that
So
the the
many.
the rapidity of the sets sometimes smooths the brain out a little bit because it's hard to keep track of them. But we do have a new set. Let us know if there's any cards you're really excited about. Definitely seems to be a moderately powerful set that's going to introduce some cool new tech. Not sure about commanders, but without further
But
ado, do we want to hop into the presentation? We want to hop into talking about Crackling Drake?
well, let's
Yeah. Do we want to?
let's
I
let
figured I'd give you an opportunity. We had a little bit of an announcement today,
yeah.
and this is an opportunity to share a little bit about kind of what's coming.
So today, this morning, I announced that I was going to be retiring, whatever that means, from the CC venture, um, only from the administrative side. I'm still going to be a fan. I'm still going to be a financial supporter. I'm still going to be the DM. Uh, not rules. DM, like, hey Clay, this thing is happening. Am I stupid for thinking XYZ? And I'm gonna be, yes, yes, you are. But no, no,
No,
I'll still be
far
that
from
friend
it.
in the DMs. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
I still be that friend in the DMs
yeah,
that
yeah,
are, helping out and all that stuff. So what does this mean?
yeah.
So, um, in October of 2020, so almost 3 years, right? I started up a little channel, Tryhards. It was basically started out filming on that table there, overhead, doing games and that kind of stuff. Just a way to play games with friends and kind of show the world. I disappeared. There we are. Show the world that we were doing some stuff, and then entered into cEDH, and um, the theme was always fringe, or
Hmm.
that's the dirty word for it. The theme was always try something, try
Yeah.
hards, right? Try something. Like there was some conventional wisdom, like there always is, by people who are seeking to control the narrative or control the meta or control whatever. There's
Yeah, from
always
maybe a
some
positive
convention.
spin, they want to play against things that are predictable, right? So what they build is
Yeah,
predictable. They wanted curated metas, which comes across in negative ways, but just wanted to sort of addendum that.
but there's little room for innovation,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's really difficult to I don't know. I particularly do not want to play in a format where, like, I had Kalia the Vast built. I was one of the
You were
uh,
one of the progenitors. There was a team of
of that
people, right?
list. yeah, making that list and making it what it was, and I was jamming that. But every once in a while, you just get a little tired of Call You the Vast. You want to play something different. Well, can you play something different? Yada yada yada. Anyhow, fast forward a little bit. I leave cEDH behind. Hell, it's only been maybe 14 months since we dropped that part of the server, and yeah, streamlined repetition. Yeah, exactly, Dex. So
It's a good way
yeah,
of saying it. And by the way, I want to mention Dax is one of our newest patrons. So I want to thank you, Dax, for your financial support and for
you
joining up
rock.
with us. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see. We had two new patrons, Dax and Addicted to Soda, who both recently joined after joining the server, like almost joining the server and becoming a patron was like very quick. So I really appreciate
Mm.
that. And if you all are interested, you can join us at patreon.com/common connoisseurs. But continue with your story, Clay. I just wanted to shout you out there, Dax.
No, yeah, no worries. So long story longer. I enter into the fray of cPDH. That's where Ryan and I meet. Ryan is correct. He was on Crackling Drake first. I was trying other things. My my very first cPDH deck that I was building from the ground up was what's the hell the 5-color knight that whenever you pay the 5 colors, it gets +2/+2 flying. It's a uh, not Dragon Soul Knight, but the other one, the red or the yellow or
Oh,
white one. Yeah, so that was my very first foray, and I was trying to do the 5-color thing with
what was
some
that knight?
combo and
Trying to remember the name of that. Yeah, Paragon.
Paragon of Amisha.
That's it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I knew it was Paragon of something, but I thought, yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So my
Yep.
so my thought process was okay,
Five
make
color.
infinite mana,
Hmm.
attack, kill somebody with infinite combo commander damage, and you have a combo as backup.
Yeah.
Um, that went over well in the home base.
Probably something that
Um,
needs to be re-explored. Anytime you have a 5 color commander, there's something going on there. There's a lot of stuff to do with
so
5 colors.
I mean, and combat damage is a
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. As we've learned.
I tried Dargo Kedis early, and well,
Hmm.
we hear that's an okay deck, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yeah. You
once
actually
again,
were one of the early people on Dargo Kedis. Absolutely.
mhm.
Yeah, and I was
got
probably even a detractor of that too. Ugly. Ew.
got laughed off the table by many. That's
Yeah.
fine. Then Drake came along.
Yeah.
So anyway, with this whole transition thing, just to kind of put a bow in that,
Hmm.
Ryan and I talk about history all the time. I will be and forever until I die, until my dying breath, I will be pushing for exploration. I
Yep.
will be pushing for experimentation. I will be the vocal advocate for people to try things, and
Yeah.
it's not because I want them to succeed,
Yeah.
but that's not the important part. The important part is failing and
Yeah.
then learning from that failure. That's what I want people that's what I want people to do is I
Yeah.
want them to feel the format, live the format, breathe the format. I mean, I'm on the rules committee. Of course that's what I want.
Yeah.
So,
And that's a really
to
crucial lesson. I just to sort of addendum to that, I spent some of you may know I spent a year living in Costa Rica in a very rural place in an education center that was teaching us about a practice called permaculture and rural homesteading. And we were living in the jungle and practicing all this stuff. And I came in with an attitude that was like open to learning more stuff, but also was like pretty afraid of being wrong and pretty afraid of making mistakes. And what I had to learn in that environment, and what was really to my benefit, was that that's where the best learning happens. It's where the stickiest learning happens. And when I say sticky, I mean learning that seeks into your consciousness and changes your perspective or your behavior in the world.
Mhm,
And it's really, really important culturally that to Clay and I, and it's the fundamental root of this channel and of this gaming
mhm.
community here, that people be welcomed and encouraged to do so, because it is
And that
only that way that
yeah,
we learn more about what can be done. And through our experimentation and through this channel, we've had the amazing opportunity to expand its horizons just
Mm.
dramatically. And now
And
combat damage
it,
matters, for
yeah.
example.
Well, I wanna touch on something because it's actually pretty relevant, and I think you'll agree. Uh, that doesn't mean that I'm an opponent to criticism. Like the problem I have always had is that people come in and just blindly evaluate
Hmm.
a card without even playing minute one
Yeah.
with it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get we're all Magic players and we got these hot takes and snap
Hmm.
keeps and all this stuff. Like, I get it, but PDH above
Yeah.
any other
Yeah.
format is a format of synergies
Yes.
and individual cards, which are like title bore. Title
Cor-
bore is horrible
Yeah. What do you
in
do with that?
99.9% decks,
You get to
but
reuse
in
your Mystic
one,
Sanctuary.
but in one particular deck, it
Very,
is
very deadly.
very deadly. So
Yeah.
that's the point. It's like, get in, fail first,
Yeah.
fail fast, learn the things, approach criticism. Well, as Derek put it,
Hmm.
there's a difference between criticism and critique.
Yep. Yep. Criticism often
So,
involves the person, whereas critique is critiquing the idea. And as addicted and addicted to soda, you're adding some welcome commentary here. Magic players famous for evaluating cards correctly. Um, yeah, and
and we're
it's
guilty of that
of
too. I
course
mean,
we do
we're all
set
human. Yeah.
previews and like there's cards that we miss and but something you will see us do though is offer that every card may find a home that's unpredictable and something that people may not have noticed. So at the part of the crusade that we have been on is to create spaces that are warm and welcoming to
Mm.
experimentation because what those ultimately translate to is places where people don't feel dumb for having tried something. And that's something
Mhm.
that we really found a lot of alignment on in our project. And it's why our projects came together in the first place. And Adam says PDH, more than any other format, is a format of synergies, the legend himself. It is. And those synergies take time to percolate. They need people to experiment with them. And if you've got people going in and saying, this card is bad, this is too expensive, this is inefficient, this doesn't draw cards, it's too small, blah, 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 then we lose out on the learning process. And we need to
And the
all
problem
embrace a bit
is,
of humble. Hmm.
on the
Yeah,
face of it, they're probably
they
right.
could be.
On the
They could
face of
be.
it,
Who
but
knows? Yeah,
that's the problem is that you shut down the conversation
yeah.
early, no development is made, and then that idea gets put off to the bin, forgotten about. So that's the thing, and to make things worse or complicated or what have you,
Hmm.
and you're going to see this tonight here in about 10 minutes. Ryan and I don't agree on every single card.
I mean, for a long time, some real iconic differences in opinion with Crackling Drake were faithless
Mm-hmm.
looting and looting cards in general.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't so much. But this was like more of like we had two hypotheses about how the deck should operate. Yours was more about card selection and about fueling the graveyard so that Drake was relevant more early. And mine was saying, I want to generate card advantage so that eventually Drake gets big. Now, really, neither one of those proved to be solely correct, but we had to engage in that learning process without the loud voices of detractors doing it, right? We had to
And
basically try it
yeah,
out and experiment.
and in that experiment, in our transparency, we linked each other's deck list in each other's
That
primer.
yeah. In fact, we still have that in our primers. That it's like if you want something more proactive or reactive, and that's more of a
Mhm.
personality thing. And in all honesty, like our lists probably performed about the same because how you play the list makes a big difference.
Who would have
So
thought?
this is the other part of the thing about the deck building is that when people talk about commanders, they may not see themselves playing the deck, so they don't like it. So if they detract from it, they're detracting from another person who may find themselves as a better pilot for the deck and will take it and be successful with it. And so it's really important that we be humble with our assessment of cards and that we be encouraging as community members. And that's really where this whole thing came together. And this is why you and I, Clay, have worked so well together. Aside from the fact that I'm an incredible perfectionist and you're a go-getter doer. And that's one of the reasons why we've worked so well together over this last span of time. Which brings us to this present day where
Yeah.
it's where we're taking a step forward in another direction where you have been the progenitor of the cPDH.guide. You were the initial progenitor of the cPDH deck database when that was around. And in all of your efforts along with the RC has always been moving behind the scenes to push the format forward in ways that nobody else sees. And you're really, really good at that. And when I joined this project, part of it was because I'm an excellent front-facing person of this sort of a thing, and our competency matched up really well there together. And so, tell us a little bit about kind of what has you making this switch then?
Well, I
What's
mean,
kind of
it's
in?
exactly. I mean, this is the real deal to the point. Um, Not that my job is done. Of course, I'll always find something to do. But this this particular community building in a time, because we allude to the early home base. Now the home base has gotten better.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
don't hate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's still a great
But
place for people to communicate and interact. The
yeah,
competitive part of it can be
at
a little strained at times, but
yeah,
you know,
at that time, at that moment, there was a shining beacon of hope was needed to basically turn the format out to the people,
yep,
and that was the goal, and I feel like I accomplished that. Not only did I accomplish that,
yeah,
uh, there's a ready built steward to take it over,
yeah,
and you know you and to toot your horn a little bit, you know, we, man, lockstep, man. Like, I entered the fray probably it's like within the first 6 months of the format being, or the cPDH meta being officially recognized, and you were already in there, kind of, plowing away and that sort of thing, and
Witherbloom Apprentice and Murmuring
no doubt.
Mystic and
And
all these
I had asked if,
awful Tier 4 trash.
yeah, the smartest thing I did was like, hey Ryan, come be a mod.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, all right, man, let's build something together. And then I was like, hey, man, I'm getting kind of burnt out on this content creation thing. You wanna hop in this? Nah, man, I got other things that I want to do. Cool, cool, cool. And
but you
then,
were insistent. And the thing is that one of the coolest things about, just to kind of, tie the story together, is like the coolest thing was that I had my own Common Connoisseurs brand that I wanted to push, that I had fleshed out over the span of really like 5 years. And it was 5 years long because I didn't have somebody like Clay who was like, you need to fucking do it. Right. And so we had that opportunity to do it. We said, you know what, let's work together before we get the names together. We'll work out all that stuff in the end. We ended up landing on the Common Connoisseurs just because there was so much like front loading that I'd done on like developing a brand and logos and all this other stuff. And from then on out, it was just rocketing. I mean, because when I jumped in, we had I think you had something like 60 videos, was it about that? 60 videos and about 600 or 700 subscribers.
yeah,
Yeah, and we
yeah,
experimented with something new, which was to do live streaming,
on
stream of
YouTube, yeah.
consciousness on YouTube, not Twitch, and really entering into a blue ocean strategy of being in a place where we could really make a splash. And now we have over 200 videos. In fact, I think this might be our 201st video. That's
Neat.
crazy. It's just freaking neat. Yeah, 200 videos, and it's just yeah, and with it, the Discord community has grown from 200
Mhm.
people to 600 plus people. We have, a thriving community of really amazing people engaging in a way that's
Just
more
wait till
positive.
Vegas, bro.
I know.
Just wait
Yeah,
till
we're
Vegas.
we're about to we're about to see a real renaissance in this format because it's going to really get into the hands of a lot more people, and that's going to be super
So,
exciting. So, with
so
that,
next
yeah,
steps for me, because Adam asked what next steps, next chapter. So, like Ryan said earlier, I have cPDH.guide. I'm I mean, just in this year alone, I think I've re- revamped the site maybe 4 or 5 times just this
Yeah,
year.
it's very functional.
So the idea there is to make it more user supporting. I was going to say user friendly, but user supporting.
Yep.
Get the data out of the ether and put it into your hands, so that way you can do your own analysis with it. Because I mean, you're going to be our best advocates, right? Another thing that I've been talking about with some of my fellow RC members is kind of working together to do some community building and outreach and things of that nature. So I hope
Yeah.
to and I'm gonna
And all the
I
behind the stuff, the nitty
yeah,
gritty, like the Scryfall stuff that you used to
still
do,
working
the deck building
on EDH
softwares,
rec.
EDH
Yeah,
rec. I mean, there's so
yeah.
much opportunity out there, and you'll be right at the forefront of it. And the this is bittersweet for me. For those of you that think that I, wormed my way in and then, more, like morphed it from the inside out like some sort of Warhammer 40K Zinchian psychic parasite. It's actually more of an evolution of the community, of the partnership, of our own individual
Hmm.
needs. And Clay's not going anywhere, and I'm really glad about that because, for one thing, it was really important to me that you felt like you had a strong sense of success with what you'd already done.
Hmm.
Because the truth is, it's been incredibly successful, our partnership. And the other part of it that's important for me was that it wasn't going to end. So you're always going to be there to support the channel and
Oh
support
yeah,
the
yeah.
community, and
You're gonna
I'll.
invite me on,
Oh
like,
yeah.
every month or so. Like,
we'll be having you on as an esteemed guest all the time. So
sweet.
yeah, this is a very exciting. It's exciting for me too because it's something that I can really continue to pursue the vision that we've been on. So it's really not like a new vision. That's the great thing about it. It's not like we're taking it and
Hmm.
changing it. It's like we're still going to be doing all the stuff that we've been doing: the deck building, the community engagement, all of the broadening of the horizons of the format, deepening our
Hmm.
understanding of it, getting great co-hosts
There's
on.
some
Yeah.
there's some new parts. There's some new parts in there, but that's a plan for
Yes.
a later
There's
time.
a lot of exciting things coming. Yeah.
Ryan and I have talked about some game plan stuff, some battle planning, as it
Yep.
were.
Yep.
So he's got things on the horizon, really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I'm actually hopeful that a lot of that will be on display a month from now in Vegas.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's the hope. That's the hope. We're still
so
working on that creator pass, but I think even if I don't end up getting that, I may just need to bite the bullet, make the investment, and get out there because I think it's going to be the best, most fertile ground for spreading the good word on cPDH, like a bunch of missionaries out there. Caw
mhm.
caw, PDH, PDH. So with that,
Okay,
shall we
yeah.
grab
Let's
hold of our britches here
let's
and hop on into Crackling Drake? What do you guys
yeah,
think?
let's do a presentation.
Yeah, let's do a little presentation here. So, yeah, let's dive in. Uh, Let me just get our YouTube chat here in order. When I make these things, sometimes we have a moment where, let's see, we go like this. There we
He's
go.
he's so technologically sophisticated that it gets in his way
Well,
sometimes.
it's basically that we've got a hack. This whole OBS system here ultimately is just a bit of a hack, and that's okay. We make it work on the daily here. So let me just kind of get these things all cited in here. Maybe we can make that a little bit wider. Yeah, we'll just have to do it like this. I had to make some new interfaces because I broke OBS, or OBS broke me, one of the two. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, we'll just do it like
not
that.
not difficult to do.
Yeah, yeah. OBS is a fickle beast. So, okay. So we've got a comment here. Adam says, very cool. Looking forward to seeing it all. Ryan, I love the builds, man. I'm trying my own take on Witherbloom now. I'm looking forward to this Crackling Drake. Wonderful. Yeah, Witherbloom is an upcoming video. I'll just say it right now. We're going to be taking another look at Witherbloom with the meta having become more proactive. I think that Witherbloom is in a really good position to be almost like a more proactive control deck, whereas Thrall Parasite would be the more even more reactive because Witherbloom, the storm spells can accumulate a lot of damage on the table. And whereas Throll Parasite is just happy to sit back and grind value. So very excited to talk about that. But we're going to talk about Crackling Drake here. This is an amazing commander. The history here that we just talked about has something to do with the home base meta. The home base meta was very combo centric. It was pure sight marrow. It was Tatiova. It was Leyweaver, Loreweaver. It was Seed Cradle Witch. These incredibly efficient, hyper compact combo decks, and everybody was playing combo. There were a couple of decks that would be control decks. We had Gormod, which is Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro and Tormod. And there wasn't, and Zada was a bit of a meme. There was some stuff. Zada was very hard at the time because everything was blue, and it was largely believed that everything needed to be because we had Rhystic Study and Mystic Remora. And that was a rough time for every other color in Magic that wasn't blue, because it genuinely was hard to justify playing them when your opponents could generate that much card advantage. And as we all know, the person who draws the most card has a tendency to win the game. So cPDH meta, basically, when I jumped in, I imagined Crackling Drake as being something that was going to be less threatening than everything else. It's a bit of that like possum equity of you're designing your deck to be something that is going to be less interacted with simply by proxy of the fact that you're killing one person at a time. You pack the deck with enough interaction to survive everybody else, and then you kill them one by one. So that was the idea with Crackling Drake. So it was initially control. Clay's build was not actually just Voltron. It still was a control deck. It just leaned more into making Crackling Drake bigger. Fast forward a year or two, and we had people exploring with combo. And combo was basically solely built off the fact that Crackling Drake being an Izzet, and having an ETB draw meant that if you ever made infinite mana with Ghostly Flicker and with Peregrine Drake and with a Mnemotic Wall, that you could cast Drake, draw a card, and then draw your whole deck with the infinite mana by flickering Drake and the wall.
And you remember who that pilot was?
Oh, I don't.
So it was Gator.
It was.
Gator came in, and he actually, ironically, because I've talked to him about this a number of times over the years, he actually had that in paper before he found the online PDH meta. So
yep,
that's the
yeah.
thing
He was
that
experimenting with basically having elements of everything in there, where you could present Crackling Drake as a threat.
Yeah, the number one tool that I gleaned from his list was the looters.
Yep, and their creature looters that sit and play and loot over and over. And that's definitely an option you can take when you're going through this. The looters also offer you a body, which is important. But that card selection, when you start to flood out, can be really nice. And so there's a lot of different ways to build Drake. So keep in mind that with this video and with all videos, it's generally not going to be prescriptive. I think with Goreclaw recently, it's a little bit more prescriptive because it was very clear what the math was telling us. But Crackling Drake can be done in all these different ways. And so just keep this in mind as you look at it.
Build it to your play style.
Use what we're telling you, and then build it as you wish. So let's think a little bit about Crackling Drake. Now, the really good elements of this commander are that it's essentially getting bigger in the command zone as you play the game, and it never gets smaller. The only way that it gets smaller is if somebody shuffles your graveyard into your deck, and there's really not a lot of cards that do that, and the ones that do are very generically kind of unplayable. They're not very good. And there are maybe decks where you might be able to leverage them, but generally speaking, this commander and its power will continue to grow throughout the course of the game. It's also evasive. It has flying. And that means that a lot of times Crackling Drake can land, you can put a Cloud of the Dominus on it, and you just kill somebody. And that's very strong. It also replaces itself because you're just drawing a card. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that. It's just coming in and it's drawing a card. And it's kind of simple, but there's a lot of, if you're low on resources, you play your Crackling Drake, you block or something, throw it under the bus, and you just cast it again, and you're like 2 cards up, which is great. The The other thing is that it's dodging graveyard hate. It's never ever getting smaller, really. Archaeomancers do make it smaller by 1 cast, but you're gonna cast that spell, so it's not like it's really taking away. It's more of a reusing of it. Um, and then the last thing is that it's durable. When we were playing cPDH back in the day, as it were, 3 damage removal was most of the removal out there. It was fiery impetus, what was it? Something fiery impulse. Fiery impulse. It was frostbite, lightning bolt. Maybe it would be a braid. There were just everything was like 3 damage. Nowadays we have more stuff that can do more. There were a lot of aura removal as well. There was like Lignify, Deep Freeze, Frogify, Casmina's Transmutation, because turning off somebody's commander was huge.
That was the primary, the primary hate.
Auras on your commander. Yeah. And so it wasn't durable to that, but we had lots of cheap 1 mana protection to protect it from stuff like that. So fairly durable. Now, the challenges with the commander are, it is 4 mana. It does have a lot of very specific pips. It is very pip intensive. This generally does mean that we need a certain number of mana rocks in the deck too, because we do want to be not stone cold to just having to play Drake and not having mana up to do anything else.
I mean, the good news is you don't really need Drake on turn 4.
You don't need it on 4. It's not crucial to the strategy on turn 4. No.
But turn 5, turn 6, turn 7.
You want to be able to slam this multiple times if you need to. Playing Drake out with no protection and it dies is okay if you have mana to cast it again and then protect it, because you're generating resource advantage out of the command zone. But I think one of the things that became increasingly clear with the commander over time was that it would randomly die to lots of little beaters. Lots of little random shit on the ground could kill you. And it was why the deck had to evolve into cards like Augur of Bolus, Seagate Oracle, more recently Philology Archaeologist, and Academy Wall,
Clue?
Kraben Inspector. The Hard Evidence is what it's called.
Yeah.
These cards, right, where you have a body that's drawing you a card, and it's thick. It's going to block some damage. It's going to be either a speed bump or a roadblock, one of the two. And that was one of the challenges, because really you end up diluting the deck a bit if you go too much into creatures. You need to be able to fill the yard regularly while not just throwing away your spells and casting them because you can. And we've got Jin Shooting Star here. Welcome, and glad to see you all here. Adam says, cheers, Soda. Cheers, Jin. Yeah, I see Drake as a 2-hit finisher as a plan A. Yeah, 2-hit finisher is probably about right. 1 hit when you get to the last 2 players is about correct, depending on how your build is. But we've got some extra spice that we were going to share with you about how to do things in a little bit of a different way. Now, the archetype for Crackling Drake tends towards control, because you do need a fair bit of mana. You are wanting to cast a lot of card selection, card advantage spells. You've got great access to kill spells and protection. It's drawing you a card. It's not very aggressive, right? Like the most aggressive start you could have with Crackling Drake would be like turn 1 Faithless Looting, turn 2... some other like a looter, and then turn 3, like, I don't know. You could get it up to 7 power probably on turn 4. But it's not really where it seems to thrive. It wants to play a longer game, because the longer the game goes, the more lethal it gets, right? Like the less hard you have to work to kill somebody. It just comes down and it kills people. Jin Shooting Star says, I hope they never downshift this to common. I think we're safe. I think this one would be I think this would be not reasonable at common.
Yeah.
It would be sweet at common. I would play it. Yeah. It's really strong for sure.
Oh, TPI with this. Oh, yeah.
Oh, give it to me. Give it to me.
Go tall, go wide, baby.
Oh, God, yeah. Ooh, that's a little foreshadowing. Yeah, TPI with this. Jesus Christ. Fling that bitch. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to fling a Crackling Drake. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, buddy. So yeah, it just needs time, and it eventually becomes lethal. And in fact, in today's meta, one of the other reasons why we're coming back to this is that you don't even need to kill them with commander damage to kill people. If you get this up to 13, like there's a really good chance somebody's just gonna die from damage,
Hmm.
not commander damage, right? So, so I think that's definitely a thing, and we've got good control colors. So here's the thing that we want to be thinking about in terms of deck building patterns. Instants and sorceries are they're Primus, right? We just need to be loading the deck with them. Counters, removal, good control elements, and then sweepers. Now, this is another place where it's like, wow, somebody asked me what causes you on Reddit. They asked me what causes you to rebuild or let's build a commander. And it's really a confluence of factors. We've gotten better removal, better sweepers, better counter spells, better card advantage. We have more bodies that are instants and sorceries, right? And we have more payoffs for instants and sorceries. So a lot of things have gotten better here. But of course, we're going to save the best for last in terms of the big thing that we got. And Chris says, with the amount of pings these days, getting to 13 power in a fling, you could easily kill two players at once. Yeah, and it's not just fling. There's Soul's Fire is a really good alternative. I prefer Soul's Fire, but then the other one is Gravitic Punch, which is a sorcery, 4 mana. You can cause a creature to deal damage equal to its power to a player, and then you can jumpstart it. So you could hit one player, and if you had enough mana, it would be a lot. You'd have to have 10 mana. Hit a player, cast Gravitic Punch, protect your commander, and then jumpstart it for 4. So that's a lot, but it's an option you have if you want to really kill everybody. So Chris says, so glad you're rebuilding this. 100% want to see more of the old staple commanders getting refreshed. Well, you can always rely on Clay to be revisiting stuff that people think is like old, old hat, old news, that kind of stuff. So the other thing is that we need card advantage and card selection. And this is something that's really core to TPI as well. It's a very similar principle. We need little stuff to get to the big stuff. But the little stuff also smooths our curve out. It ensures we hit our land drops. It ensures we hit the elements that we need. It finds us the cards that we need along the way. And it's making Drake big. If you only play card selection or if you only play card advantage, it's going to be very clunky. Either you'll gas out or you will basically not have a big Drake, right? And then the last thing is that I think that this does want to have some small to medium sized ramp suite, whether that's 6 to 8 to 10, I don't know. And frankly, my list is this new version of the list is not done for me. So we're going to start with the old one, of course. Now, the last thing that we want to talk about here, this is perhaps the spiciest thing that Clay has ever come up with. And it's fucking genius. Okay? And we've alluded to it through a little bit here and there about this, but there is something significant that happened in blue, and that is Murmuring Mystic. Murmuring Mystic is my bread and butter. Okay, Murmuring Mystic and Witherbloom Apprentice are probably my 2 highest win rate decks of all time. And I used to run my local meta with these decks. The league that I played, I think I almost went undefeated. And the only reason I didn't was because I had somebody headhunt me when they had 0 wins. And, but Murmuring Mystic, when the meta was the way it was very effective because it didn't die to the sweepers. Only the birds did. It was packed with interaction. And it wasn't the scariest thing at the table. So you just ran away with games because combo players were going off. You would interact last on the stack to stop them. And then in the process, you're making birds and you're just killing people. And Murmuring Mystic got downshifted to common rarity. Murmuring Mystic is a wizard. These cards find our wizard. This is a partner commander. And let that sink in.
Yeah.
We're taking a commander that was good, very good in its time, and we're just slotting it in to an already great commander.
We're adding red to Murmuring
We're
Mystic.
adding red. That's a great way to put it. We're adding red to Murmuring Mystic. And this dynamic can be replicated in any blue deck. And this is huge. Scholar of Ages.
Let me address Soda's comment about pingers with decent bots. So there probably is some validity to the pinger strategy. So
Yep.
that's why you see a lot of red X shells going with, 7 pingers, 9 pingers, 11 pingers, or all 12 or what have you.
TPI on
Uh,
10 of them is the most
right.
you can possibly run. Or no, I think you can do
So
Blister Spit and the new Scamp. Yeah, so you can do
yeah.
12. Yeah,
So I'm not exactly sure. Now you can build a Drake with pingers, absolutely, but I'm not
I'm
exactly
tempted.
sure. Well, I'm not exactly sure that, like when looking at is it, I think TPI is a better pinger deck.
It is a better pinger deck. However, and actually the
Hmm.
decks will start to look kind of similar because if you think about it,
Yeah.
what does TPI have? It has Filigree Familiar. What is Filigree
Hmm.
Familiar? It's basically Crackling Drake. It's got one
Yeah.
less toughness. It doesn't draw a card. It is, but its toughness, its strength, its power never
Yeah.
goes down really unless you lose your
So
board.
there's some nuance. What I'm getting at
Yeah,
is there's some
there
nuance
is.
here. Now,
Yeah,
now what the choice in Murmuring Mystic, the reason why that is such a vital choice is because flyers are premium right
they're
now.
so good. Board stalls in
Because
PDH are so common.
because everybody's going towards the pinger route, everybody's got 1/3 sticking around. So now they have now they have blockers.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, how do we break this board stall? So this was
Addicted to Soda says pincers over grab people over the Nivix Cyclops. So yeah, so what you're actually seeing here is that this deck has a way more different ways we can take it now than it ever did. We have a lot
Mm,
more pingers. We have even more turbo in turbo prowess cards like Nivix Cyclops, Kiln Fiend, things like that. You could do
mhm,
that too, right? And we're backing it up with the ability to both go wide and to go tall. When we have Crackling Drake, it's like this thing is going to draw attention because it's big and it's scary. It's going to kill people.
mhm,
Murmuring Mystic is a little bit slower, but Murmuring Mystic adds so much defensive capability to this commander that it really didn't have before. The
mhm.
classic experience with Crackling Drake was getting killed by freaking untappers and scouts and like the stupidest little shit. And you're slowly dying until you have to use a sweeper to kill everything, not for the reasons you want to use it, not because you want to
Right.
stabilize the board. It's about because you're dying, and this is a problem with the deck, and it's a problem a lot of combo decks had too, and we're solving it with Murmuring Mystic, and this is
Mhm.
huge. If you were to add in the pingers, you would actually have three different angles. You would have go wide, go tall, and ignore combat, right? And there's
Mhm.
probably some rationale to that. It's going to be a question of card slots, I think, in the end. That's going to be the hard
Because
thing.
creatures and artifacts and
Yeah,
all of that
because then
stuff
you've
take
got
up more.
ramp, you've got kill spells, you've got counter
This is the
spells,
primary
card
reason why I think
selection, card
TPI.
advantage, ramp, pingers. It's like all this shit, right? It's like a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. And so this is an enormous innovation on Clay's part for the format because any blue deck can do this. If you're playing Scholar of Ages, you can put in a tutorable Murmuring Mystic in your deck and you can win with combat damage. Or you can stay alive another 5 or 6 turns because you just make an endless stream of these things, right? I mean,
So
it's amazing.
yeah.
It's very powerful.
So Chris, the bottom line is this. So like there's an additional card in here that doesn't necessarily directly tutor for Mystic, but what is the transmute counterspell? It's it's yeah. Use the
Perplex?
no the transmute counterspell, the blue one, the double blue pip counter instant sorcery. Damn it, what's the
Muddle
name
the
of that thing?
mixture.
Muddle the mixture.
Oh, muddle the mixture
Muddle the
for
mixture finds
Vidalcan Aether Mage.
yep.
Yeah.
So to get to Chris's point about okay, so with decks like this, now other people might feel differently, but if Clay's playing a deck like this, whatever that first 7 is that I draw, if it looks like it's going to be a Drake hand, I play Drake. If I have a tutor in hand for Mystic, I'll lean Mystic. That's just basically taking what the deck gives you and going. Now, there's opportunity as well, depending on what your matchups are. You can intentionally, because you get 7 free cards to look at, right? You can intentionally look at your matchups in the pod and kind of veer one way or the other,
Yep.
depending on how you mulligan, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah, no, this is huge. And what this means is that this video isn't prescriptive as to how you should build your deck. I don't even have a new version of Crackling Drake fully completed because when I started diving into it, my brain started to implode. I was like,
I do.
wow, this is intense. Clay does,
Mm.
so we're gonna get to look at
Yeah,
that.
my version of this list is already put. It's already in paper. It's already
Yeah.
ready.
So Adam says, as a rules committee question, is Murmuring Mystic on the ban list radar, giving its every blue deck auto include status?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely no. This package, while it is powerful, is
Mm.
nowhere near the power level of Rhystic Study and Mystic Remora, which is the angle and the lens at which everything needs to be assessed. Um,
I think I can qualify and quantify this real quickly. So, Mystic and Ristic need nothing further to start generating value.
yep,
Uh, from
this is a
a
deck
Murmuring
building
Mystic,
parameter.
yeah. From Murmuring Mystic's perspective, you have to do something extra yourself
Yep.
to get it. Yeah.
Now that question about like
Buy foils, my
universality.
friend.
Yeah, for sure. And the universality of its inclusion is exciting because these combo decks, a lot of these blue combo decks, do lack the means of defending themselves, and that is a significant weakness of of what they're trying to do. Right, like they're trying to go for something, and they need to be fast-ish, right?
Mhm.
Because eventually you're gonna die, right? If you assemble a lot of combo cards in play, people are going to be killing your stuff. You need to eventually
And
turn the gas on it and go. And this says you can buy yourself time. Flyers being blockers is like so damn good.
and also like this is every time I look at it, I still get that nice little fuzzy feeling in the pit of my stomach. Mystic says, cast an instant or sorcery spell, get something.
Yep,
Drake says,
it's
get something from your casted, your
we got to go
previously
back
cast
to a
instant stories.
we got to go
Yeah.
back to a comment we had. Jin Shooting Star said the deck goes tall by playing your game. Well, now it goes wide, it goes tall, and it goes unblockable because you could also do pingers. And pingers don't have to be able to get through a board to do damage. So we're going to have a lot of different attack vectors available to us because we're
Mhm.
an Izzet. And that is what's special about this deck, right? And this is what's special about this versus TPI. You know,
Mhm.
TPI doesn't have it does have Murmuring Mystic. It doesn't have any way to tutor for it, but Murmuring Mystic and TPI are doing the same thing. It's just that they still work well together, right? But
Mhm.
this is like we're diversifying dramatically with what we're doing. So this is very exciting innovation and something that we're going to be sharing with you today. So let's go over to Moxfield real quick here, and I got to get this YouTube chat showing here. Let me just actually, we're going to copy this and then paste it over there just so that I can do a little less work. There we go. And boom, like that. Okay, so go back here to our Crackling Drake list here. This is the list that I had for the longest time. 14 counter spells. You can see some of the things that I'd added recently. You know, some newer cards like Tolarian Terror, Philology Archaeologist, the Academy Wall, Cruel Witness, Serpentine Curve, Shield Wall Sentinel, things like that. But you can see we have a nice little, ramping curve of card selection packed with some card advantage spells like our Behold the Multiverse, Scattered Thoughts, our Candlekeep Sage, Bonder's Ornament. And then we had some evasion to basically get the Drake through. Over time, I reduced this evasion more and more and more because it's a slow deck and you don't really want a lot of them. You just need one way to get through most of the time. And most people aren't going to have a ton of blockers. So cards like Teamer Battle Rage are fine, but they oftentimes sit dead in hand for a long time. They might be better now that life totals are lower, but you just have to keep that in mind. We had some Graveyard Hate. We had some ways to give it haste and protect it. Haunted Cloak is very good in the deck. Nice, healthy 34 land base. A little 6-card ramp package that all doubled as card advantage. Bonder's Ornament, Commander's Sphere, Honored Heirloom, of course, is more interruption. Is it Locket, Lantern Revealing, and the Network Terminal. And then 14 removal spells. So not all that different from TPI, actually, right? Like 30 pieces of interaction almost. Chris says, definitely can see the true value of that secondary route with the recent sanctuary. People will be on Voltron is always an option, which has always been a hidden threat, I feel. So it can definitely give a good switch. Yeah. And the fact that we can go in all these different directions is huge. And then we have sweepers. So this is kind of where the list was at. I haven't changed this list in 3 months. Clay, let's find your list. That's fine. I'm gonna have to look for it here so that we can keep it inside this this interface. Um, okay, so let's do. Are they both public? Okay. Let's see. We got this one right here. So we'll come back to that other one here in a moment. Let's go as a view. We're gonna go to stacks, visual stacks, and let's take a look here. So card selection way up, right? Brainstorm, careful study, consider is very good here. Faithful saluting, probe, mental note, opt, ponder, preordain. So this is looking very much like TPI, right? You know, you've got like almost 10 card selection spells, followed by some ways to dig a little bit deeper. And then you've got a couple of banger card advantage spells like borrowing 100,000 arrows. Do you also have... Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, what I was thinking of was the other one called Theft of Dreams or Keep Watch. Both of those are... hmm Yeah, that's what I was thinking because of Murmuring Mystic. Well, it's both though, right? Somebody attacks you, you keep watch, you draw cards, or if you top deck it and you have a bunch of birds, you draw your own. So yeah, I think that that's a good thing. What we don't see here is a lot of raw card advantage, which is mitigated into a degree by the fact that Crackling Drake has its own card advantage stapled onto it. 12 removal spells, 14 protection. Do note that some of the removal here is sweepers as well. So this is lower on removal and higher on counter spells and interaction in this way here. We have our tutors here for our Murmuring Mystic. We have Trinket Mage, which is able to find our Aether Spellbomb, our Relic of Progenitus. It even can find the Seed of the Synod or the Great Furnace. So a lot of really cool things here. Another thing worth mentioning is that now we have Cryptic Serpent, right? Cryptic Serpent, Tolarian Terror, unbelievably good in this deck, right? Like you could totally see a sequence where you like run one of these things out. Oh, Clay, your audio is muted here. One sec, that's my fault. Audio capture beta, Discord. There we go. Now give me a test audio, Clay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, cool, cool. It was just a moment. Yeah, thank you for the heads up, everybody. I appreciate that. I swapped to a new window and the audio input wasn't there. So, but yeah, and then we have these looters as well. We have the Wind Rider Wizard and the
And they're
Academy
all
Wall.
wizards.
Yeah, they're all wizards. Yeah, like
Well,
we've got a
most of
lot
them.
of good wizards. Even the new Shipwreck Dowser is a wizard, and this is the best Archaeomancer we've ever gotten, other than just pure Archaeomancer for the cost, right? Archaeomancers are always going to be 5 mana, basically, from here on out, in terms of ones that
Yeah.
actually put it into your hand. But they're going to continue to get better stat-wise. This one is actually an attacker in this deck. And then Cruel Witness is a card that I've been playing with for a long time that allows you to surveil every time you cast a non-creature spell. So anyways, so this is a great look at an option you have here. And then let's look at your other version. And actually, let's get a link to this in the chat really quick before we go any further here. Drop this in the chat. Boom. Okay, so that's the go wide, go tall, go wide. And then where's your other one here?
Right there.
Okay, Turbo Drake. And this is your original build. You can see because it has 3,800 views. We're going to go to a different viewing form here. Stacks. Okay, so
all sweepers, baby.
really similar. You've got all the sweepers. So you're trying to control the board not by building up some blockers, but moreover by saying we're going to just kill the things in play with these big sweepers. You've got the same card selection, card advantage suite, basically.
Yep.
You have Fade Away. Fade
Sweepers, baby.
Away.
Yeah.
I don't always forget about this card, but I often do. Fade
Mhm.
Away is such an insane card. This card was really, really bad, and it was a bit of a joke in the home base for a long time because there just weren't enough creatures. It was like, yeah, I just like, and tons of mana, right? Like nobody cared, right? Nobody cared at all.
Mhm.
You would not get anything done with this card. Maybe against like a Ghost of Ramirez player in the late game, but it was so narrow. Or like a Zada, I don't know, it's just terrible. Nowadays, Fade Away is backbreaking,
Mhm.
backbreaking. Aggro players be tapping out all over the place, and it's like, do you want to sack your lands and lose the game to everyone else, or do you just want to lose your board?
Mhm.
You'll lose your board. That's what you'll do. Yeah, and it's 3 mana. It's tutorable with Drift of Phantasms. It's very strong. You have the same ramp package here, Trinket Mage, same counterspell package. So basically, the difference here is that instead
Yeah.
of playing a bunch of creatures, you're just playing more removal.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty simple. So let me drop this list here, and that's the list that you have replaced as your primary Crackling Drake list.
In my battle box, although I'll continue to update it because Drake, baby.
Yeah, Drake is
A-
life. Drake is love.
As we
Um,
get more sweepers, right?
Yep, that's right. Now we can go back here. What I would like to do is take a look at. God, I finally got all this organized. It feels so good. Um, is this one here is what I was working on, and it's nowhere near done. But there's a couple of other innovations that I want to introduce to this space too. One of them is that in playing TPI, and in playing Sailor's Bane, I learned a lot about ways, some tech pieces that you can include that work really,
Hmm.
really well with commanders that care about what is in their graveyard. And that is Lorien Revealed and Mental Journey. Mental Journey came along with Lorien Revealed because this card not only adds an instant or a sorcery to your graveyard, but it finds you a basic land. And then late game, if you top deck it, it's an instant speed draw 3. It's an amazing thing, and you can slot this in as a land. I don't generally advocate for 2 mana cyclers that find basic lands being lands, but the math works out fine. The math works
Hmm.
out that if as long as you've got like 2 and above lands per opening hand, which you can find down here with this right here, this we have no lands, but so it's 0.1 because we have command tower. But this will tell you usually a number like 2.3, 2.2, 2.5, something like that. So these are great cards you can slot in for free. Lorien Revealed in particular in any blue deck is just a basic land. So cut a basic land, play this. Then we have Murmuring Mystic, Vidalcan Aether Mage, Step Through. I have some card selection here built in. I did add card like Witching Well just because I wanted to stack functions a little bit with being able to find what we need with card selection while also having raw card draw on the back end, and it's tutorable with Trinket Mage. So if we're low on resources, we can Trinket Mage for Witching Well, crack it on end step, having just scryed to, and it's basically akin to like Behold the Multiverse. You can see I have all the same sweepers here. I have included Bloodfire Infusion. Um, Bloodfire Infusion is an interesting card. It's kind of the atomic button. And so I don't think this is going to make the cut, but Fade Away for sure will. We're definitely going to play the shit out of Fade Away because this card is just amazing. I used to play a Pauper deck that used Fade Away that was called Gone Missing Tron, which you'll love, Clay. And it was a mono blue Tron deck that used emerge cards like Wretched Gryph and Eldrazi Sky Spawner and Seagate Oracle. And then once you hit Tron on turn 3, you could Gone Missing somebody's Karoo land, their bounce land. And you could put it on top of their library and then draw a card off the clue. Because 7
Hmm.
mana with any mana fixer allowed you to, if you were on the play, if they went basic into bounce land, you could send the bounce land on top and they would concede. It was a meme. It wasn't good, but it was like the only meme deck I think I ever built, and it was pretty funny. So Addicted to So says there's some friction between Fade Away and Murmuring Mystic. However, they're both so powerful. I love the include. Yeah, there is. I think that in the same vein though, like you could totally see a scenario where You know, you don't care about all the birds you have because of the damage you're going to deal to the board. Maybe somebody finally sweeps the board and you say, sure. And then you fade away on your turn and you're the beneficiary. And then you just rebuild from there. Right.
Hmm.
So I think that it's okay to have that tension there. And inherently, because we are going wide and going tall, there's going to be certain spells that just won't work with other spells very
And you
well.
could, on the sweepers, really quick though. Um, so because there are 5 total sweepers, there are 4 that negatively interact with your board state. If you did feel the need to, electricity doesn't solve everything for you,
Yeah.
but it does in certain matchups do well. So
Yeah.
and
And
echoing
Echoing
truth.
Truth is the other one, and so I haven't included Electricity just because I found it to be too narrow. I think that was the problem I've run into with it. You know, as people modify their decks to, you know, I think there's going to be a general pattern of moving away from Gut Leader because Gut Leader is incredibly fragile and it gets stressed by the number of different ways you can sweep the board. You can do it with damage, you can do it with fadeaway, you can do it with -2/-2,
And
and
there was 2 sweepers just
uh,
downgraded in CMM.
yeah, with Drown in Sorrow being 3 mana, if somebody really wants to stop you, they're gonna put you in the dumpster. They're gonna hold your head underwater until the bubbles stop. Like, and I think that's where, and it's also hard to get through with 6/3s. I would rather have damage that just got through than have my 6/3s running into 1/1s through Abdel, through TPI, through the increase in bodies in play. And so Gut Throne is looking to be a better, I think, a better approach to that right now based on where the meta is at. And Electricity does better against that deck because it has a lot of 1 toughness stuff. So you could still play it. It's reasonable. I might not even play Archaeomancer just because of the fact that it is the only one here that dies to sweepers. Dowser doesn't even die to a main phase Sulphurous Blast because it gets prowess, which is really strong. So I would probably play Pneumatic Wall instead, um, and bring that in here. And then you can see I do have the pingers. I have the Cryptic Serpent as well. So let's just do here, we're going to do threats, and we'll do Cryptic Serpent, Firebrand Archer. I was even thinking about Goblin and Electromancer, and Oh Fairy.
A new
Oh,
fairy.
yeah, we just, so what do you think about these? Is this something that we could play instead of rocks?
Um,
It's not going to show up yet, but it's a 3 mana 2/1 flyer that reduces the cost of instants and sorceries, just like Electromancer. Electromancer dies to all the sweepers is the problem, right? So
yeah. So as far as like substituting it in for rocks, probably not, because your rocks are there for your consistency with your
yep,
commanders.
yep, absolutely. And here's another one I wanted to explore too is Living Lightning. This is a
Hmm.
really interesting Archaeomancer in red. Oh, we also need to go and probably grab the Ardent Elementalist. Although, if we're playing sweepers, we might not want a whole lot of these that die to them, right? So, for example, Living Lightning is cool because it actually gets it on death, which
Hmm.
disincentivizes people from attacking us, and it has a 3/2 body. And if we just cast this, blow up the board, this is actually able to get our sweeper back, which is pretty cool. So we can sweep the
Hmm.
board, get our sweeper back with the Living Lightning, is one way to do it. Thermal Alchemist is another one. We maybe we wouldn't even play Firebrand Archer if we were doing pingers and we just focus on the 3 toughness stuff. That might be one way to do it. Something like that. And then maybe just because Gutter Snipe is so good, we would make the reach for it. I am excited about pressuring on 3 different angles, right? It's unfortunate that none of these here are wizards. It's truly unfortunate.
Because that would be broken. But Muddle the Mixture does find
It does
a
find
number
them.
of them.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna bring terror in here as well. This is another threat here. Is Carfell Harbinger? Let's take a look. Oh,
It's the summoning sickness.
yeah, it is summoning sickness. It is a blocker. It makes mana. There's a lot of cards like this that make mana. So could we do like O-tag ramp type creature and just see what comes up here? I'm not sure this is the direction that I would want to take it because these don't help recast our commander. They don't help us cast creatures
Because
either.
they're in. Yeah.
Um, I know there's a bunch of these that have been printed recently. Um, where are they? There's this one. There's Coilos Rock, but it's only non-artifact spells. So
Mhm.
um,
You could go up to the top there, and in your search
instant,
line type order colon CMC.
and then O instant. We just need to see what's instant and what's sorcery. So there's this one here too. This is also a 1/3. 1/3, 1/3. So I mean, they only make blue. They don't recast our commander, but they are 1/3s. So they're like rocks that
It's
block.
it's my preference that any rock or mana accessory that I cast, and this is any color, any deck,
Yeah.
I want it active when it hits the board.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And if it's not, then it has to be a compelling reason.
Well, they are
Now,
2
to that
mana,
end,
right? And most rocks aren't 2 mana. Most of them are 3 and they come into play untapped. So it's kind of the same thing, right? But the fact that they don't recast our commander is a problem. But I would like to put these into our considering section just to kind of keep them on our radar because we do have 4 of them. They're all 1/3s, meaning they survive most of our sweepers. However, if we cast
that
a swirling
observer,
sandstorm, we are going to
yeah,
be hurting for mana. And I think that's probably one of the bigger reasons. The other thing is that these creatures, they don't actually draw cards. And what you'll notice is that the ramp rocks that I'm playing, Network Terminal, Fountain, Bonner's
hmm
Ornament, you can play like Is It Locket, things like that too. These do draw cards. And I found that, when I was playing Is It Locket, a lot of people didn't like it. But boy, I love this.
So this is the ramp section here is a good opportunity to discuss the differences between Ryan and I's build technique. So Ryan is a mid-range player at heart.
Yep.
So he is looking to extract value, maximum value from all the continuous pieces that he plays. So do you have Bonder's Ornament?
Yep,
Yes, you
I
do.
got, oh yeah, for sure. For this deck,
So
you better well believe I'm playing
so
Bonner's Ornament.
so like network terminal, he and I have crossover there. I'm playing the Signet. I'm playing
I got Signet.
the
Yep.
yeah. I'm playing the 2 mana stuff. In fact, I am more apt because I'm looking for a certain amount of speed, and that's just my play style.
Yep.
I'll play Mind Stone. I'll play, the even that ridiculous roller planner die one because I want a certain amount of availability and speed and that kind of stuff. But that said, um, that doesn't make Ryan incorrect with what he's doing. So I just wanted to point that out. Like
Yeah.
I am a go fast, like hey mama, I'm going fast kind of guy.
Look at me, mom.
Ryan's more of a let's slow this down. I'm gonna control the
Yeah.
pace. I'm gonna control the tempo. You little controlling son of a. I mean,
Son of a bee. Yeah. Well, it's something that I think is it's just a
fracture power spin. Yeah.
yeah. This is
So as we're going through these card choices and evaluations, like, I mean, you've got one of the Crackling Drake Masters here with you. He's going to play it in a very specific way, right? So he's getting into his mindset, getting into his play style. That's going to inform how he's constructing the deck, and then I'll play it differently.
yep, absolutely. I one of the things we're going to see here that's a little bit different as well is that when I play a card like Trinket Mage, I'm going to have
hmm
every effect that under the sun that is
hmm
going to be desirable. So, for example, we will want Aether Spellbomb here, um, and
Well, what's
base. Mhm.
available? What's all available in the one slot for mage targets?
Okay, so yeah, classic things here would be Relic of Progenitus. It's the artifact lands. So we have Great Furnace, we have Seat of the Synod, and then we have Silver Bluff, um, Opf, Seat of the Synod, and then we've got Silver Bluff Bridge.
hmm
And these
And
are really
in
good
my
hits.
humble opinion, those 5 are the minimum 5
Yeah.
you should be playing with
Yeah,
Trinket Mage.
lands. I think there's the next best one is oh, Addicted to Soda says, gotta sign off, gentlemen. Have a great have to get up at 3 a.m. Dude, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, and very much appreciate your patronage. I really appreciate your support. So thank you, buddy, and we'll catch you on the flip side. So yeah, Great Furnace, Seat of the Synod, and I think if you didn't play Silver Bluff Bridge, that's also fine. But generally speaking, when you're playing Trinket Mage, you often find yourself playing Network Terminal, and you want to optimize the number of ways that you can turn on Network Terminal.
Yep.
So I think all 3 of those are very good. If you really need to fix your mana, Silver Bluff Bridge is great for that. Or if you have nothing else to do with your
Hmm.
turn, say you go turn 4 Trinket Mage and you have nothing else to do, then your 4th land drop is just your bridge, right? And that's what's really nice. And so those 3 there, and then Aether Spellbomb is pretty damn close to being staple. This is a very, very good card. I play this everywhere. It's so good. Relic of Progenitus, I wouldn't say is staple, but in this deck, we don't really care about our graveyard as much. Logic Knot could be hurt by this. Treasure Cruise could be hurt by this, but it hurts
Hmm.
other people more than it hurts us, and it draws a card. If you're in blue, you can also play Witching Well. I
And
think that's a good one, but
there's something to say too. The thought process I've had with my blue X decks is I've actually cut down. I'm not playing Honored Heirloom in many things. I
Honored
usually,
Heirloom I just cut. Yeah.
yeah. So because I had the early prediction when it first came out. I was like, this seems like more of a self stacks piece. I'll take a pass. That's after I bought like 21
Yeah.
foils. Uh,
Well, and I think
so
like that's a really important point to be sharing with people is that Honored Heirloom like broke certain decks in a bad way. Like it made them bad kind of when it first came out. It forced them to actually, sorry, that's not true. It forced them to play more interaction because they had to have a way to bounce the Honored Heirloom, and that's in a good thing. Okay, stop playing greedy decks that don't play interaction. Okay, like
mm,
it's just
but
it's
yeah.
you
So for my
gotta be able to protect what you're doing. And so Honored
yeah.
Heirloom dumpstered Tatiova for a while. But what Clay's pointing out here is that when somebody is doing graveyard stuff and they're doing it early, this is a 2 mana tax on you every single turn. And you have to keep it up because you're the one there. And everybody else is like, oh, you've got mana up for it. So like it's
Oh
your
yeah, yeah.
job.
You've got it. Yeah,
You've
you've
got
got
it.
it.
Which in fact, in my opinion, means that we should tap out with it more often.
So
So maybe that's the way to do it. But
so
um,
the new strategy that I've taken on with blue X decks anyway is Relic will be my main graveyard focused hate, and then I'll try to catch everything on the front end
yep.
either via counterspell or removal.
Right. And we've got Lucario Blaze to ask. So I have a question. I've heard from somewhere that Crackling Drake is the best deck in cPDH. Is that true? I would say that the best deck in cPDH is the list that you want to play. Okay, and that's not
Bingo.
always that's not from a power level standpoint, but really we should remember this is still a game, right? And our goal is to have fun with it. So play something you like, build it strong, right?
Hmm.
There's a lot of amazing options out there. I think Crackling Drake is a very reasonable choice. But there really isn't a best deck in the format. And if a deck ever did get to the best deck in the format, it would be soundly beaten down by everybody. Look what happened when Tatiova got too good. Tatiova became everybody kill Tatiova, and then we'll play a normal game of Magic because cPDH is
Gretchen,
very, yeah,
Abdel.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
These decks are all having difficulty dying because combat damage and commander damage matter in this format more than they do in CDH. So yeah, I think it's a great deck. I think people should play it. It's a great option, and there's a lot of different ways you can play it. But I think that the best deck is something that's very mercurial. There's
I
no,
have
there's
I
no,
have
yeah,
had great success with Crackling Drake over the last 2 years.
yep,
So that's why it's in my battle box.
yep, absolutely.
Because I love to play it and I love for other people to play it.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, that's kind of the nuanced opinion we'll usually offer on this channel. The best is something that's really subjective. It could be piloting, it could be the pod, it could be player order. A gut in position 1 is very advantaged, right? They're going to be able to kill somebody very quickly, potentially while they're still developing. Whereas like a Thrall Parasite could Could not care less. In fact, actually, with Roll Parasite, oftentimes I don't really want to be position 1. I don't want more attention. I don't want to see. I don't want to be like ramping really hard on position 1. And the data suggests that mid-range and control decks don't care about their seed order. Aggro decks and combo decks do. So Adam says, maybe I'm biased because retro card frames are the best. By the way, am I the only one who feels that retro frames should be the main frames? I love retro frames. Personally, I grew up playing Magic and Invasion. Okay, so we're going to give you a little bit of boomer vibes here, but this is the Onslaught block. And Onslaught was like the set after, I think it was, or maybe Onslaught was the third one. I think it was Invasion, something, Onslaught. But this card frame, I love it, man. Like it's my favorite.
Especially in foil.
Oh God, and in foil, just like, come on. Yeah, the golden old frame cards. You're talking about the tournament decks, the showcase decks that they had. Piss colored cards suck. Yeah, I agree. But I love this, and the foils look phenomenal. Whatever WotC did, where they like moved away from their good foiling to bad foiling, just go back to what worked, please. Like, and it's been getting better. So yeah. Okay, so we're also going to get some selection here with this. I also was thinking about Shrine Steward. What do you think about Shrine Steward, Clay?
What are your targets?
Deep Freeze, Stasis Field, Cloud of the Dominus. It's... I
don't even see Cloud of the Dominus in there.
I don't have Cloud in here yet.
For shame.
Yeah, for shame. Cloud of the Dominus, is a little bit of a weird one, I will say, though, because it invites...
Well, Dominus is great in this deck because it does the thing you want it to do for either commander. So for Crackling Drake,
or for a Cryptic Serpent, haste. Or a Talarian Terror, or a Sword Coast Serpent.
Yeah, so you want that Shroud for those blue creatures.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the retro frames are also fine. Like here the retro frame is fine. It doesn't look the same as the old cards. The old cards had a little more teal in them, but it's fine. It's okay. I appreciate the old printings of things. So okay, so we're at 71 cards and we have 6 lands here. We're really close actually to having. Where's the rest of the card selection? So I don't have as much. We need more card selection in here.
You have selection and you have draw.
Yep, but I want to have about an equal amount of these.
I see. You're delineating instead of compiling them into one. You're delineating the two.
Yep. So let's go here. Hard evidence is so hard evidence actually is not card selection. It's just one card, right? And so it's a form of card advantage. I was also thinking about Candlekeep Sage. What do you think about Candlekeep Sage? Is this too narrow, too bad as a top deck? Kind of feels like it.
It's a flicker. It's a spell that lends itself to flickering strategies.
Yeah, that's right. So now the other cards I was looking at here is I've never been a big fan of it, but Reign of Revelation is something that I think is actually going to be a good middle ground between what you're doing and what I'm doing. It allows you to fill the graveyard. It allows you to get card selection at instant speed. And this is huge. And this is really what I'm leaning into here is that I want instant speed ways of searching because we don't want to have to spend an entire turn taking the turn off because there's threats in play and then not be able to progress our board, right? So I also looked at Mysteries of the Deep as another one. As an option. It's a 5-mana draw 2, which is pretty bad, but it is a landfall for 3, so maybe.
Do you have your looters in the selection pile?
I do not. No, I don't have the looters. I'm not as excited about the looters.
Well, you are at 17 creatures as well, so
yeah, I'm not going to be able to play any more creatures. Basically, like the ones that we've got are, I think, as far as we want to go. I'm playing Cyclops Electromancer is another one that I think is a really good addition to Crackling Drake. This is another
ye old not.
This is Flame Tongue Kabu. And it's a wizard.
Neat.
It's wizard. Yeah. So Electromancer can also be flickered with Ghostly Flicker. I was kind of thinking I would build a flicker package in here without actually having the flicker combo. Just because I really don't like dead cards, and Peregrine Drake is often just a dead card.
Hmm.
And so, having Ghostly Flicker in here so that we can reuse the ETBs on the Archaeomancers for value, or the Electromancer, or to just draw cards off Crackling Drake. There's a lot of like cool stuff we can do there. And so maybe Displace wants to be in here too. And we're going to have to get some more counter magic in here. Adam says, thanks for everything, guys. My wife just said she's hungry. Time for the fourth meal. Gotta go live more. Yes, later on. Congrats on retirement, Clay. Looking forward to Witherbloom, Ryan. Adam, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate all of your thoughts
Until
and your
next time, friend.
commentary. Yeah, and we'll look forward to catching you on the flip side and in the battlefield. So I hope you have a great rest of your night. Um, I also have Demon Bolt in here because Demon Bolt is a foretell card. And foretell means it's actually filling the graveyard or filling exile.
Yeah.
Um, and it's face down information. So opponents don't know what it is. And I was kind of thinking that these cards, like there's another one that's called Depart the Realm.
Hmm. I very rarely foretell, like, what's it, Beyond the Multiverse?
Behold the
Some
Multiverse.
Behold. I rarely cast that for its foretell cost. Largely, okay, if I'm honest, I get it later in the game where I'm just,
You just hard
you know,
cast it.
hard casting it. But like, I very rarely foretell anything.
Yeah.
So,
So here's another one, Clay. Rush of Knowledge. Just a yield
so
5 mana draw 4.
yeah.
So that one's good there. I think we can go down to 8 ramp. I like Fountain of Ichor a lot. Um, but it's a few. I kind of don't want to clog this with too many threes,
Hmm.
and I value the card advantage over the body, even though it's very good.
Yeah.
And yeah, Felwar Stone with this awful art there. Need to go too. Jin Shooting Star, thank you for joining us, friend. Glad to have you here, and it was a pleasure chatting with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to playing with you sometime soon. So
Absolutely.
more counter spells, more removal. We're gonna have to cut some stuff here to make room for more selection. Brainstorm is in here because I am gonna be adding. I'm actually gonna add an Oliphant here as well. Um, Oliphant. There we go. Oliphant is another card that is free to play in your deck in place of a land. So we'll do mana here. Um, and it's also a shuffle. And
You
it's a
might
threat in the late
wanna
game.
you might want to flesh out your at least put in like basic islands, basic
Yeah, that's
mountains
right.
for
So let's
for your
do
total number.
snow. So we need to do type snow. And we want our
Are you playing any snow relevant cards? Are you playing
Scred.
Scred?
Yep. Mainly Scred. Um, Probably not that. Um, okay, so these are going to here. And then we're going to go, let's just get this up to, it's probably going to be like 8, maybe 7. 7 of those, and then 14 islands, I would think.
Oh, are you playing Mystic?
Sorry? Oh, Mystic
Are you-
Sanctuary. Yeah. That absolutely. With Lorien revealed and some of our more powerful card advantage spells, we're definitely going to want to have that there. We've got our tutorable basics. I also really like Is It Boiler Works. In particular, if you have any looting, the ability to loot away a land is great, and it increases the range of keepable hands. So that one's good. And then let's just get, I think 34 lands is probably
Yeah.
enough. So we're going to add in some different lands here as well. I like to play a little bit more tech in my mana base. I'm willing to play a few more tap lands. So we need to get type mountain, type island. And we're going to get both of these in there. And then let's cut a... Okay, so we already have Molten Tributary and then Volatile Fjord. Okay, so we'll go down one island. Okay, and then Mysteries of the Deep can go. Scattered Thoughts, Reign of Revelation, Behold, Keep Watch. Um, Borrowing 100,000 arrows is really appealing to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't really have enough
Yeah,
removal.
it stinks because you can't play any of the draw that like TPI that focuses on a bunch of creatures and stuff because you're not guaranteed to have. So it's kind of like this weird like a shared discovery or something like that doesn't look as good in this deck.
Yeah. O-tag, removal. Let's see. So I want it to be a mana. Let's see. Mana value is. I got it backwards. I want it between 1 and 3. How many are there?
If you do,
Fuck, so many.
you could do.
We need
You
instant.
could either do. Yeah, you could do order EDH rec, and that'll give you the most popular ones, or you can go order CMC, and that'll give you the most,
Yeah, the cheapest.
ordered.
Lucifer, welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. I love the idea of just borrowing 100,000 arrows. Totally plan on returning them. Exactly.
Send it.
Yep.
Fire.
Yeah. Ooh, Curfew.
Curfew, man.
This card has gotten so bad lately, hasn't it?
All 8 of my copies are in the box over there.
Yeah. So the reason that people played Curfew was that for a long time, this was hitting 4 good creatures every single time and protecting your commander. Nowadays, it's like bounce the 1/1 soldier token, they get Abdel back, and then somebody gets an Archaeomancer, and it's like, no.
Because ETBs are premium.
ETBs are so good. The Lucario says, totally not going to fire them at your boats. Totally not. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Considering Frostbite, these are like classics that used to see a lot of play here. Lightning Bolt, Magma Spray, Outnumber.
Well, we're getting to the point somewhat that like 3 damage is not enough.
It's not. You need 4, and particularly for Abdel. It's a really important point. Like Torch the Tower was a really cool card. This is a really exciting card. It doesn't deal 4 damage though. It's like
and it's hard to guarantee what are you going to bargain, right?
In this deck, we're not playing this. Definitely not.
Yeah,
I'm not bargaining away a land.
Well, on Torch the Tower, I see Torch the Tower doing really well in Rakdos strategies, especially when your draw spells are creating like a food token or
and
an
TPI, right? I mean, it's
TPI,
still good in TPI. It's Scry 1. You exile the thing if it dies. There's some usefulness to that. Blink of an Eye could come in. Boomerang. We are really looking for 4 damage, though, and I'm willing to pay 2 mana for that. This one's kind of interesting, but it requires mountains. This is about dragons, not drakes. Quite sad. Force Away is another one, but that requires Drake to be in play.
Yeah, all the cheap ones that do big damage require a sacrifice.
Harvest Pyre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
That's in my Quintorius build. I actually used to play. God, what was the name of that? It was a hybrid Boros spell that whenever it got dealt damage, it deals damage to another target. I can't remember.
Oh, the Spite Mare.
It's a 3 hybrid pip version of like a Spite Mare. Yeah,
okay.
I can't remember the name of it, but.
And then we have like Rinns of Rebuke, which is better in your list than in mine. That one's good in yours. Unexplained Disappearance is another one.
Wait, at 3 mana, you have the uncounterable one.
Yeah, Heated Debate.
Bombard is another one.
Yep. I'm willing to pay a certain amount. This would actually be really good in your Drake deck too, because of the Surveil 2. It's 1 mana, bounce a creature, Surveil 2, or if it's attacking, and then if it's not, you just pay the 3. It's only hitting creatures, but that's mostly fine. Heated Debate probably still goes in the deck. This was always a good card.
Cannot be countered. And
Soul's Fire. Yeah.
most combo players are looking to have a counter backup in their hand, and Heated Debate says, "Fuck your couch."
Yeah, fuck your couch. It sure does. It sure does. Soul's
So,
Fire is one that I want to have in here because I think that also with like Talarian Terror and those, like that's going to often, we're going to have like ways to turn this on, but it's also just like a boom headshot.
well, I mean, okay, so on that point, let's drive that home. So, the first 10 life are usually the slowest ones to kind of get rolling, but once people start getting sub 20, that 10 to 20 goes really quickly, and people get sub 10 really quickly, really fast. So having a creature in the deck like that Sword Coast Serpent or what have you, that's a 6 or 7 power, just constantly there,
Makes
I mean,
this more
you're not.
reliable.
Yep.
And with
And it's
Crackling Drake, it's just a one-shot kill. You like hit
yeah.
somebody and then Soul's Fire the other one, and then you're like 1v1 as a control deck, and you're just cackling.
It's fulfilling the same role as Massive Raid
Yep.
in TPI.
Yep. Absolutely.
This deck's Massive Raid, yeah.
So let's take out Shrine Steward. I don't think that's going to be good enough. We're at 104 cards. We're actually very close to being done here. I didn't bring in Resculpt because I think that this 4/4 goes at us too often, and we can't handle that. We cannot handle giving somebody a 4/4. There's a lot of decks that can. TPI loves to give somebody a 4/4 because then they literally don't swing at you because it feels pointless. Like you just eat 1/1s. They'll swing at other people. Or you can turn your own thing into a 4/4, and it's like it's protection against truth abilities, echoing and decaying.
I think you had the Shrine Steward in there because you were going to do the Impetus cards. That's why you had it in there.
Oh, we need those cards in here. Oh, so chat. Let's have a. I'm gonna make a video on this probably pretty soon, but let's just have a chat about these Impetus cards. When you place this on your opponent's creatures, everyone at the table suddenly has a new problem. If you
scroll down a little bit.
If you put this on a Dargo, it is now a 2-shot kill. And it's generating us value while not attacking us. So these are regularly 2-for-1s.
Arguably, this one and the white one is really good based on the build.
Yeah.
But arguably, like scrying 2, developing a treasure token, like.
I mean, this is ramp. This is card selection. It's like
the only place that you might get hamstrung is on the cards that are available in the pod that you're playing against.
Yep. And they don't turn off combo creatures. Like they don't kill combo creatures. That's the other thing we have to be very clear. They're sorcery speed. These are value cards. But in aggressive decks, you love to make your opponents swing at each other. That's great. And what happens is you put this on your opponent's big creature or a medium-sized creature and you make it big. And then your other opponents suddenly have a new problem. And if they kill it, you 2-for-1'd them. You got the creature and you got their removal spell. They're phenomenal. And it's more than that if the creature stays around. You can also put it on your own creature. Imagine giving Psychic Impetus to a Talarian Terror or a Cryptic Serpent. I mean, you can do that. You could do it to a Murmuring Mystic. Be like, my Murmuring Mystic is now a 3/7. So Victoria, welcome. Glad to have you here. I saw you in the comment section. I was replying to some of your insight on our last gameplay video, and I really appreciated hearing all that. So welcome to the chat. Is Ravenform playable? And sorry I joined late. Don't worry about it at all. You made it here, and I'm glad that you're here. You're gonna get kind of the we'll just give a quick synopsis here. Basically, what we discovered, what Clay discovered, is that when Murmuring Mystic got downshifted to common rarity, and it's a wizard, we now have 2 cards that can tutor for a second commander in Crackling Drake, thus enabling us to go tall with the Crackling Drake and wide with Murmuring Mystic, and rewarding the same activity, which is casting instants and sorceries. So we have Step Through to find Murmuring Mystic, and we have Vidalcan Aether Mage, both of which can uncounterably find it, which means that Crackling Drake is now a partner deck. And that's really, really strong. It solves a lot of the problems here. But furthermore, this is a blue package that you can put in any blue deck. And that's really exciting. So based on that, the new sweepers, good removal, better card advantage, better card selection, Lorien revealed, like just so much good stuff here that has made this deck very playable. And
Hmm.
whereas before, I think it just needed a little bit of a push to get back into seeing a lot of play. So obviously we have way too much removal here. I think you come to a river over into the Royal.
I'm I'm not a fan of Boomerang.
Yeah, so Boomerang's interesting. If I were comparing it to Blink of an Eye,
So,
I
and I'll tell
rarely draw cards off Blink of an Eye is the thing.
same, same,
Rarely.
but also, I mean, okay, so if you're looking at it from the perspective of like hitting anything, okay, fine. But you and I both know the main reason why Boomerang was favored as
Gretchen.
part of a was Gretchen. Now, well, Gretchen, Weavers, Parcel Beast, you know, et al., that sort of thing.
Yep.
So
Yep. Any
I'm
non-land
not
permanent.
suggesting I'm not suggesting that Boomerang's not valuable because of the whole like any permanent kind of thing, but maybe Boomerang's a medical
Yep.
versus a main deck.
Yeah, this is something I've been staple, like on this kind of, staple kind of card for a long time because Gretchen is a very good deck. I still think it's probably worth playing, and I would probably play it over Blink of an
Up to
Eye and
you.
Into the Royal,
You can
but
you can you
I
can
see
play
your
those
point though.
Rebecca Gay. You can play those Rebecca Gay. I bought two of those.
Oh, dude, the boomerang, Rebecca Gay boomerang is gorgeous. This one right here, the DCI promo, it's only $7 and it's very pretty. We'll just select this one. Yeah, you got to watch for a
It's
little
got
bit of
fairies.
curling, but it's got fairies on it. That's right. Oh, we've got Winfro. What's up, buddy? Wizard Cycling showing its strength again. Yeah, see, Winfro is used to playing a lot of Popper, where Step Through was a tutor spell usable in. I bet they're still using it. You just play like one copy of Murmuring Mystic in
Mhm.
Familiars, and then you can tutor for your Archaeomancer. You can tutor for what's it called? What's the bowl? Something a bolas. It's a 1 mana 0
Augur.
4. No, it's a 1 mana 0 4 in white that gains you life whenever you cast
Oh,
Grixis spells. Um, I can't remember the name, but I think that's a wizard too. So it's basically it's like a 2 mana tutor for anything that they could possibly want in the deck. So yeah, similar dynamic for sure. In Winfro, this is definitely the same kind of concept of diversifying the game plan, giving us secondary win conditions.
hmm.
So okay, I would rather have Sword Coast Serpent than Blink of an Eye, and I would rather
Okay.
have Boomerang over Into the Royal. Um, I mean, one way you can look at Into the Royal too is that you can Into the Royal your Pneumatic Wall and your Dowser to as a
Get
draw
back
engine.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is a thing, but it's more about the combo. Um,
Which
so
you don't have
I
any
don't have in the
combo.
combo, so that's not really where we want to be. I really like the idea of playing Deep Freeze in here. Although we could play Tamio's safe key, Tamio's completion if we wanted to go instant. What do you think about that instead of Deep Freeze?
I'm having a very difficult relationship with any of the auras these days, and the way that so I had to take a real hard look at Lignify. So Lignify, in my mind's eye, is the signature aura. I mean, outside of Oubliette, but it does something different.
Yeah.
The so I've taken a real long look at these lately, and I don't feel that they are sufficient enough in this sacrifice, centric meta.
Yeah.
Like everybody, too many people are playing sacrifice outlets. I mean, makeshift munitions. Like,
Which
so
are,
basically,
in a way though, it's the same as if you went to kill their commander. They're going to sacrifice it in response.
right. So you're getting to my point. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of deep freeze, which is an enchantment, wouldn't you rather just play removal? That's an instant and
Well, the
sorcery.
difference is that so what I would actually say is that the reason that I don't play Deep Freeze anymore is because of the impetus. The impetus cards do it better. they don't
Hmm.
stop it from doing things. It makes it so
Yeah.
that they do things to everybody else, and that's great.
Yep.
And they generate value, and they're the
So
same
why don't you
cost.
put?
So let's just
Yeah.
take the impetus, cut that one. That seems
Yep.
pretty easy. So now
Yep.
what I'm noticing too is that we don't really have as many counter spells as we have removal, and I think Thunderclap can go. I'm not impressed with this card right now. Um, 3 damage is not enough. Lightning Bolt is special. Okay, we're not cutting Lightning Bolt. Um, Demon Bolt is actually a card that I'm pretty bullish on here. Um, just because it is hidden, and a lot of times when you see a foretell card, most people think it's Behold the Multiverse,
Yep.
and I think that's the reason why I kind of want to I kind of want to try playing the Depart the Realm as well, um, because Depart the Realm is just then it's like 1 mana to bounce a non-land permanent.
So it's a
Three
ether
mana
spell
in
bomb.
total, but it's Aether Spellbomb. Yeah. And there's a gotcha element to this that's worth considering. Okay, I like our draw suite here. I like the removal suite. The counter spells. I have been favoring removal over counter spells lately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 ways to interact. We need more. Because I want to cut probably 1 removal spell to get 10 counter spells.
Do you have confound in there?
I don't.
That is a shame.
I think confound is important. There we go. We just don't need the O tag. Yeah, confound is a very good card. This is intervene that draws a card for 2 mana. It's like Arcane Denial. It's very similar. I think Mage's Guile is here because
Oh,
I wanted to.
you
Mhm.
still have displace and flicker in there. Is that intentional?
I don't know if I need displace.
Yeah,
What?
flicker's nice because you are playing the sanctuary.
That's true. I just think like I want 1 flicker in the deck. Because it's a nice way to pair up with these. It's a way to draw a card off this. I
Yeah.
have Drift of Phantasms in here too. I don't even know if that's really premium. What is it
Well,
hitting? It's hitting Keep Watch. It hits Gutter Snipe,
it hits your sweepers. It hits
Impetus,
your yeah.
Sweepers, Heated Debate.
It's a toolbox.
Yeah, and it's a blocker.
Fade away.
Fade away. Fade away. Yes, fade away. Fade away. Okay, so I have Unwind in here as well.
Hmm.
Mage's Guile is one that I'm experimenting with. The ability to cycle it early seems good. It can go on other people's creatures as well, which is nice. There's another card. Oh no, we probably want that one. Yeah. There's like, okay, so let's do O tag counter spell. MV equals 2. Oh, we don't have Dispel here.
Yeah.
We want Dispel. And then in terms of removal here, I mean, it is worth asking. Like TPI plays Lightning Bolt because TPI cares about life totals a lot. We don't. Is there a reason why we wouldn't just play like a 4 damage Demon Bolt instead?
I think it's vastly important to this build here, your build, that the removal scales.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be
Harvest Pyre, Scred,
yep.
all of that meets those requirements.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll go down on Bolt. Okay, so 102.
I guess you'll just have to make 3 extra birds and,
Oh no, I guess I'll have to do that. I like Drift of Phantasms. I also don't. And I think I'm going to cut this one because we have 1, 2,
Density.
3. It was such a density. Like, we're going to hit these. This is like as many as I run in any black control deck. Some actually more in some ways. So I'm okay with that. I like our ramp. I like our mana here. I like our draw suite. I wish we had a little more cheap card selection.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, but there's a lot of go down to your curve. Let's see that. Show us that luscious curve. There you go.
that's a nice bell curve, you know.
Yeah.
Most of it's concentrated here,
Yep.
which is appropriate for a deck that ramps with 8 rocks.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think you'll be fine with your card draw.
is it charm? How do we feel
Two
about this
mana,
card? Could this
two
just be
mana loot.
negate? It,
Um,
or like
yeah.
Mage's Guile should just be negate, or this should just be negate. I haven't been super impressed with this card. It's generally, I don't know, hasn't done a lot for me. In all honesty, it feels like it's been.
It's not your style
Mm-mm.
because it's a looting card. It's not a hard counter,
Yep.
and it only does 2 damage.
Okay. Mage's Guile is going to become negate. Okay. I like where we're going here.
One
Um,
card left.
one card left. Could be here.
I have 7 in mine.
Yep. So would it be Fire Diamond?
Yes, because it only produces 1 color.
There we are. 100 cards. Just give this a little whirl here. Oh,
Little
oh, well,
whirl.
look at that. Our commander's just in our opening hand. How cute.
And there's enough mana to cast it.
Yep. Yep. Here. And then I think this is where maybe the Is It Charm, is helpful.
Hmm.
Um, like that. End a turn. And then we can go here. We have a removal spell, which on turn 3 is not going to be useful. So we're probably just passing the turn.
Well, so I would disagree.
Well, I mean, we could use it, is what I'm saying. Like, it could be
So
useful, but it's most
so
games it won't
if
be.
a Malcolm is
That's
in the
true.
pod,
That's true.
nuking a Malcolm the turn it
Mm-hmm.
comes down is a big deal. It's a very big deal
Mm-hmm.
because they kept their hand so they could cast Malcolm on turn 3.
Yeah, or
Ask
turn
me
2.
ask me how I know.
Mm-hmm. Because you play it. The Malcolm thing is interesting too because Malcolm, when it sits in play, it ensures its recastability.
Hmm.
So if you get it the first time, it really slows them down.
Hmm.
So let's say we use
And
it on a Malcolm.
so they're jamming it and they're jamming it with no protection.
I'm gonna run out this Living Lightning because I wouldn't
Ooh,
mind
not
getting this back.
okay.
Yep. Um, I feel like this brings a little too much attention, and we have this in hand.
Hmm.
There is tension between Harvest Pyre and Swirling Sandstorm here. I want to mention
Yep.
land, just like we drew it up. We don't have a red mana because I fucked up. So let's just say I didn't, okay? Because that was dumb. We needed the double red. Your boy fucked up. Just cast Drake, right? We want
Yeah.
to draw a
Yeah.
card.
Draw a card.
Look at that. Okay. Well, now we don't have the double island for get wrecked me. Okay. But it's only 2
Ah.
power right now, and then wall. It's not unwelcome. We're not drawing a lot of cards right now. That's fine though. Just like play this out. Probably play wall. Maybe we play Mystic actually.
Yeah.
We don't have any way to protect it though. So that kind of spooks me.
I'm running it out there. So it's
Okay.
either kill my Mystic or kill my Drake.
Got it. Island. So we're gonna need to go, and actually we're gonna hold this island because we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
5. Yep, for Pneumatic Wall. Getting back Is It Charm.
Yep.
And I think we're going to play the land out because we want Counterspell, but because
Yep.
also we're going to ditch this probably. We don't need both. Although at this point, maybe we don't want this anymore because we have Murmuring Mystic. So it's the opposite. We go this, draw 2, make a bird token, caw caw, pitch this and this. And then, yeah, I mean, we're like wrapped up really nicely here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have kill spell, draw card advantage. We have an engine in play. If this ever dies, we can get one more thing back. So,
And at this point, I would be swinging that 3/2 in like.
oh yeah, we'd be getting aggressive with this for sure because now we have a wall, and we'd be swinging this too. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to cast Behold the Multiverse. Make another one of these. At end step, we're going to scry 2. We don't want either of those. Bottom of the library, draw 2. Wow. Yeah, that's really good. And then we can counter something with a negate and then scred something. Yeah, I think y'all are seeing the power of it right now. This is like
All right, so turn 8. You've got 4 birds.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Drake is 7 power.
Yeah.
And we have blockers. Like we're not gonna die to stuff as easily because of this. So that was pretty spicy. Not enough lands here. Land, card selection, rock. I'll keep this.
And Dominus.
And Cloud of the Dominus. You gotta love it. Oh, there's our red mana. And this is perfect. Okay, so we'll take the this, and then we'll just, do it like that in the graveyard. And then next turn, we'll go Island, just in case we hit Sanctuary, because we'll get our red off Bonders. We're going to put this in Foretell for 2.
Oh, that's nice that you can foretell with
Yep.
colorless mana.
Exactly, yeah. And then we'll play this right here, and we're actually holding up Demon Bolt. It's pretty spicy. I like that a lot, actually. That play pattern's nice.
At instant speed? Is that what?
You cannot foretell at instant speed. So here you'll see it says, during your turn, you may pay 2.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you did it that way, it's the same mana, right? It's 2 to foretell and then 1 to cast the foretell, so it's 3 mana.
Oh.
So.
Oh, but what I'm saying is you can cast it from foretell.
Yes, that's right. At its speed. Yep, at instant speed. Yep, so let's just say we do this. Let's just say we have to use it. So it's F to flip over. And then we're going to go land. Victoria says, isn't the list currently viewable on Moxfield? You know what? It is not in the video description. So let me post it for you all here.
You have to, you'll have to get rid of that unlisted if you want it public.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. There we go. You are also an author on this one here. And there's the list. Yep. And this is what I'm going to modify my current list. So basically, I'm going to take this whole thing, export it over to my current list. And so, yeah, let's wrap this up here, and we can talk a little bit about the different elements that we've designed into this. One, we've got Crackling Drake at the helm, giving us Is It colors, giving us a go tall strategy, giving us inevitability, a very powerful evasive attacker, and a source of card advantage. We have Murmuring Mystic, which takes us wide. Yeah, of course, Victoria. Hope you find that useful. We've got Murmuring Mystic, which allows us to go wide. It's a 1/5. It's an amazing blocker, and it also makes flying attackers and blockers. We can tutor for it with Step Through and with Vidalcan Aether Mage. So this is our partner commander. The other angle that we're going is that we're leaning into Gutter Snipe, Thermo Alchemist, and Kessig Flame Breather. We've chosen these 2 right here because they're 3 toughness and they survive our sweepers. And we've chosen Gutter Snipe because Gutter Snipe is busted. And it's okay if it dies. We also have a couple of Archaeomancer effects paired with 1 copy of Ghostly Flicker. And the way to tutor for it with Merchant Scroll, so that we can have a loopable protection card advantage engine, where if we have one of these and we have Ghostly Flicker and Crackling Drake, we can loop it over and over and draw cards. Shipwreck Dowser and Pneumatic Wall, neither of these die to our sweepers except for the Swirling Sandstorm. But I think even Dowser, we can get it out of range if we needed to. And then we have Living Lightning, which is basically an Archaeomancer that triggers on death. But
Hmm.
it's nice because we can sweep the board, get the sweeper back with the Living Lightning when it dies. We have a healthy removal suite here and a solid bench of protection spells. We have card advantage spells, as well as some small bench of card selection spells: Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm. I think I might actually. How many shuffle effects do we have? Is it just a few? I think I'm gonna
I
cut.
mean, all of the tutors, right? All of the tutors plus all of
Yeah,
the.
yeah. I'm gonna cut Brainstorm. It's gonna be Portent.
Okay,
Yeah, Portent.
is important.
Portent is important, and I think that sometimes, in combo decks in particular, you don't like Portent because you don't get the card right away. But in control decks, it's just another copy of Ponder. Um, we don't have Opt or Consider or Preordain. So, what do you think about cutting Philology Archaeologist for one of those?
So
This one mills
I,
actually. This is like better.
so it depends. So in a turbo list, milling is
Well,
great,
here. So
and
in this list, yeah,
yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I think you might be playing three more creatures than I'm comfortable with.
yeah, understandable. And those are the pingers.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, Archaeologist makes sense to me because it does put them into the graveyard. And you are going 3 deep. It's a fixed Augur of Bolus because we can get our ramp with this, and we can't get lands, but we will get spells off of it, and it's a 0/3. So do we not have? We do have hard evidence. Good. There's actually O creature O token. Type is not a creature. Because we actually just got a new one, didn't we? The one that puts a spell from your graveyard into your hand.
Um, do you remember what its mana cost is?
Yeah, it's 3. It's a new one. Oh God, Goblin Wizardry could also be good in this deck too. Huh?
Into the no.
Into the
Um,
Fey Court. It does make a
so
body, but it doesn't block.
can you do set CMM? Is that what
It's
set it was?
actually from Lord of the Rings. Oh, we didn't put Serpentine Curve in the deck either. Uh,
The other crackling
yeah,
Drake.
the other Crackling Drake. Yeah, we probably need to do that. Where is it? Is it? um, Set was from Loter, and it's blue.
Oh, I know. It's three mana cost.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's killing me here.
Treason of Isengard.
Treason of Isengard. What do you think about this card? It goes on top. Doesn't
You don't
seem
have a
very
way.
premium, does it?
You don't have a way to get it off the top.
Well, Crackling Drake. But it's like, how good is this though? Eh,
So,
it's fine. It's fine. We're not gonna play it. But
yeah.
Victoria asked, "Are the free spells not good in the meta? Snap, snapback, frantic search." It depends on the version you're trying to build. If you're going down Clay's route, I think they're better. Um, I don't really like snapback and frantic search so much
Yeah.
because they're card
I think
disadvantage. But
I think I'm frozen.
yep, you were for a
Oh, there
moment.
I am. Yeah.
No, frantic search isn't banned. Victoria, the only two cards banned in Pauper Commander are Rhystic Study and Mystic Remora. The ban
Hmm.
lists for Pauper and for Pauper Commander are different. So frantic search is legal. Yeah. So is
Yeah. So,
foil, gush, daze,
Vic-
Gataxian probe.
Victoria, the real answer to your question is the answer will be dependent on your play style. Ryan is known for wanting to get, actual card value from the cards that he plays, whereas the free spells lend to a
Yep.
more looser play style. So that way you're kind of, yeah, copy that. Oh, are
Yeah.
we Are we military, Victoria?
Yeah, Clay here is he's a military type. You know, the funny thing is that I am a very conservative multiplayer Magic player.
Mm.
Um, and that's why
I am
my
not.
and you're not. That's the funny thing. It's one place where we're like flipped from real life to our games. It's like we're like I am so conservative in multiplayer. And so my choices reflect that. I want flexibility. I want them to always work. I don't want to lose, lose cards that I would otherwise want to keep. I'm coming over from cDH, so I'm trying to learn. Yeah, well, this is you're getting a class act here. Yeah, this is definitely a good example of kind of how we would make our choices in this format.
No worries.
A chef, got it. That's awesome. How do we make room for Serpentine Curve?
I think
Curve
that
seems
there's
so
probably
good.
so. I mean, that's the thing.
It's another terror. It's Cryptic Serpent, right?
Now regarding terror, regarding serpent, at the time you cast serpent, it will be a 6, or terror
Yep.
is 6 or 7. I can't remember what they are, but
And it's also an instant or a sorcery that we can get back with these cards. And with I've had 2 serpents in play before, because you can get Mystic Sanctuary, pick it up, and recast it. I think it's better than Living Lightning. It's the same mana cost, and it's a threat.
mm-hmm.
This is like Commander number 4. It's crazy. Like Serpentine Curve, Sword Coast Serpent, Murmuring Mystic, these pingers, they're all just different angles that we can approach this deck from. They're really, really, yeah, there's a lot of cool angles you can take this. So I feel really good about this deck. Ironically, we actually reduced the cost of the deck quite a bit. It's only $40. That's awesome.
I mean, you could probably update the cheapest just for poops and grins.
Okay.
Of course, it's going to give you all the.
You can't undo it. Oh, that's going to hurt me. Okay. Oh, we shaved $2 off. Damn it.
The snows. It's probably the snowlands. Go up. In fact, go up to your sorting. So go to advanced on the right hand side. Of course, I don't know if it'll list it. So in the include extra data at the bottom, see the price. See if it'll give you. Yeah. Okay. So what's your mana base?
7 of the dollars. And the tutors are 11 because of Merchant Scroll. Merchant Scroll is a $7 card. So the most expensive card in the deck by far.
So I like to do this.
I like that. I like that feature. I haven't used that before. Lobert, what's up? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Glad you made it. I need to set this as a preferred printing and just not have it ever be the white bordered one. We'll just do this. Yeah. So yeah, great cheap deck here. The only other card I'm looking at is Rush of Knowledge. Now, Rush of Knowledge is busted with terror. Dude, oh my god. Oh my god. Tolarian Terror in play, draw 7 for your 1 mana 5/5. Oh, that's some freaking tech.
Oh my god.
We got Dave. I can't let you do that, Dave. What's up, baby? Good to see you. Lobert, did you bring your fine folks over to say hi? I think you did. I think that's what happened. Well, welcome everybody. Glad to have you here. Yeah, so Scroll is actually $5. Good. I linked your channel before I finished, so hopefully some followers. Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, for those of you
yeah, anybody watching this video now or later, Lobert is a very excellent content creator. You should go check out their stuff as well.
Yep. If you haven't seen his content before, Lobert does great shorter form edited gameplay videos that are narrated, much like Playing with Power. Basically Playing with Power, but for cPDH and for PDH. He does casual as well as competitive stuff. And yeah, it's a great channel. So Clay, would you be able to find that and link it in chat to Lobert's YouTube?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. So basically, for those of you who just jumped in, give you a little bit of an update on what we've done here. Crackling Drake has been juiced by a number of cards. We got Sulphurous Blast. We got the Impetus cards, which are great at keeping people off our back. We got the Electromancer. We got Sword Coast Serpent. We also recently got the Gutter Snipe, and we got Cryptic Serpent and Talarian Terror. We got Shipwreck Dowser to get things back from the graveyard. We got Lorien revealed, as well as Oliphant, and then this tech of Mental Journey. And we've wrapped it all together with one core synergy, and that is that Murmuring Mystic was downshifted, which means that this is a partner deck now. Crackling Drake partnered with Murmuring Mystic, and traditionally these were mortal enemies, and that's the best part of this, because Murmuring Mystic would sit there and
now.
all these birds, and you just couldn't get through, and Crackling Drake would have to play double strike spells for it. But now they're friends. Now they've gone from foe to friendship, and we have 2 ways to tutor for it, with Vidalcan Aether Mage and with Step Through, which I forgot to mention. These are removal spells. I'm not going to put Vidalcan Aether Mage. We know that this, you should also know that this has another mode, okay?
It will send a Trickery Charmed Fireweaver back to somebody's hand.
Any changeling, you can bounce it back.
Well, maybe not Trickery Charm.
Not Trickery Charm, but it'd be Wings of Velasvel or Rune Stalactite. Yeah, you can send it back to their hand because it's also a sliver as well as a pirate. So I'm not going to put it under removal. Step Through is removal. But yeah, basically this allows us to go tall. This allows us to go wide. And then we have some great threats. We're like not really relying on commander damage anymore. We have Talarian Terror, Cryptic Serpent, Flamebeather, Thermo Alchemist, Gutter Snipes. We have Pingers. We have Token Makers. We have a Crackling Drake. We have a Serpentine Curve. And then we have these big threats here that can either block or attack for us, as well as some Archaeomancers and a Flicker, just to give us a little bit of protection, but also a way to recover spells from the graveyard and protect and draw cards over and over. Victoria says, I think Bitter Reunion looks good here for both the card draw and the haste for Crackling Drake. Absolutely. It's not an instant or a sorcery, but I think that's a great consideration for your deck, Clay.
I was looking at that too because there was some tension. I took a lot of my haste out because being on this game plan allows you to be a little bit more flexible. I could see in a world where you're turboing through, like churning through your deck and creating a bunch of 1/1s, doing somewhat of an alpha strike with a bunch of flyers sounds really good.
Or these things.
Oh, Zach, what's up?
Zach, my dude. Runaway Together is a great spell.
So let's put a pin in that real quick. So there are a plethora of great spells for this deck. Yeah. Runaway Together, Bitter Reunion, all of these options. It's just a matter of what Ryan has here in front of him is what Ryan would play. We mentioned this earlier in the control. Yeah, we mentioned this earlier in the broadcast. Crackling Drake with the Murmuring Mystic backup provides an excellent opportunity for Drake heads who like to go fast, like myself. You can build both of these, together in synergy and go fast. Using the Runaways Together, the Bitter Reunions, what have you. If you're Ryan and you like to play a little bit more of control route, he's gonna change his card quality a little bit to more his comfort. He's playing that long, consistent game, versus us go fast folks. Ooh, that's easy. Spellbomb is tutorable by the old Trinket Mage. Trinket Mage is Ryan and I use Trinket Mage in Izzet Shells as ramp, as removal getter, just a basic tutor package. There's five cards that we typically play in an Izzet Shell. That's 3 lands, Relic, and Ether Spellbomb.
And actually, the one that I play over Relic mostly is actually Everflowing Chalice. One of the most busted cards you can find with Trinket Mage is Everflowing Chalice. If you have your 4th land in hand and you Trinket Mage for Chalice and then play it on 4 for 2, you are like guaranteeing what Everflowing Chalice does is it guarantees an extra cast of your commander once it's died. It gets you ahead so fast. So I usually play that one because a lot of my decks lately have been reusing their graveyard a lot, and so Relic hurts. Like, I'm not even certain that I really want to be doing it here because we do have graveyard stuff. We have Harvest Pyre, Sandstorm, Archaeomancers. I have half a mind to cut this and then add Honored Heirloom back in. I'm just going to do that. It means we won't be able to. Um,
But you see, this is a prime example.
yep.
Honored Heirloom is by far slower
Yeah.
than Relic is.
And it accomplishes another role, which is kind of like where my more conservative Magic player vibe comes in. Lobert, in terms of seal removal, I think the question is not Aether Spellbomb or Seal of Removal. I think Seal of Removal is very, very good. I think it's underplayed. It's on board. It does the same thing. It just doesn't draw a card. It doesn't feed Cranial Plating. It isn't tutorable. You know, but it's very good. It's very good. Yeah. I mean, I think like the same thing goes for Seal of Doom and Seal of Cleansing, Seal of Primordium. You know, they're all like very good because they're on board, and it gives you time, and it makes other people think about what they're going to play before they play them.
Gretchen won a $100 or $100 or less competitive EDH tournament, like playing a cPDH deck at a cEDH tournament on the back
of a single Aether Spellbomb that everybody respected way too much. So, I mean, Aether Spellbomb creates this dynamic of like, you don't want to be the one who has to pay resources to pop it, so nobody comes after you while it's in play. So I think Seal of Removal is great too. The other thing too is that Seal of Removal is 0 mana to activate. That is another thing, Clay, that is actually better about it, right? And Seal of Doom is the same way.
And we've got Wilds of Eldraine coming out that has a lot of enchantment matters related stuff to it. So
it's worth exploring.
We might see an uptick. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I think I'm really happy with where we're at here. This list is feeling revitalized. I'm going to be assembling this in paper. The balance of effects looks appropriate. Everything coming down to like a 10-ish plus, we have like give or take. So like 8 of these, 12 of this, 14 of this, 13 of this, a bunch of text sprinkled in here and there, 6 sweepers, 4 tutors, very balanced removal, and some great threats to diversify our game plan. So very, very happy with where we've landed here. And I'm glad that you were here to do it with me because I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to make room for the core things that I wanted to have in here. So yeah, this definitely, this makes me happy. I can't wait to play Drake again. It's such a cool commander. Yeah, definitely cool. And we didn't talk about Haunted Cloak, but I think this one kind of explains itself. Oh, you know what? There is one other card, Clay. One last thing we're going to talk about, and I know you just love stickers.
Oh my God.
Command performance. Okay. Now, so command performance is 2 mana. You get 2 tickets, and you put a sticker on a creature you control.
What stickers matter?
That's a great question, Clay. Most of them. So we're going to go to here because we have command performance in this deck. So we have stickers. These are the stickers. We're going to go to our view here, and let's change the view. View to visual grid. Stacks. Spoiler. Okay. So the stickers in this deck, my rule of thumb for stickers, oh boy. Oh, I'm sorry if I just made some of you sick. The rule of thumb for stickers is that you need to have 7 really desirable stickers for a card that puts tickets on your creature to be good. And those effects, 7 of them need to be really, really good. Okay. Double Prowess, Haste.
Okay, pretty good.
When it deals combat damage, flicker something. So it's Vigilance and a draw.
Yep.
Double Fire Breathing.
Okay.
Trample. Life Link.
Okay.
Menace. Ward 2. Reasonable. Double Exalted. Okay, this is basically, it's very similar to Prowess. and then target creature can't block this creature this turn. So unblockable.
Okay, 1.
Yeah. So you make all their flyers not block and then hit them. So I only see like one of these that I don't really care for. And I don't think the fire breathing is phenomenal either. And the ward is okay. Exalted is just fine. But that leaves us with basically can't like unblockable.
It's exalted.
Double exalted.
So that's +2, right?
Yeah, it's +2. Yeah, it's gonna be similar to prowess in a way, except prowess could be a lot more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pretty interesting. Command performance is probably good enough for the deck. The only problem is because the sticker tracks between the command zone. It won't work with flickering. No, it would work with flickering because flickering is visible. It's going into exile and then it's entering the battlefield.
Yeah, it's face down exile that and hand?
No, flicker. So hand is the one that you can't, that doesn't work because hand is a private zone. Victoria says, when is the next gameplay live stream? That'll be on Friday. We'll be doing gameplay then. And, sometimes Clay and I find time during the week to do gameplay as well. And so the best way to get a hold of that is to go and do subscribe and then hit the bell icon. You won't get spammed with anything. It'll basically just let you know when we're going live at odd times. So yeah, that's the best way to do it. Increasingly, my hope is to be able to get in more gameplay stuff, but it's a lot of work running the channel. So yeah, sometimes that's one of the things that goes by the wayside, which is one of the things you're going to get to do more of, Clay. You just get to play more Magic. That's a great thing. Yeah.
Good to be the king.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I need to get my local meta back up and running here because I need to be just getting in more games, more practice. Well, with that, Clay, it's bedtime, isn't it?
It is.
It is maybe even past bedtime.
See me starting to get sleepy.
Yep, it's starting a little drift off. Dad, old man Clay here starting to doze off while we're on stream. All right, folks. Don't worry, hit all the buttons the day I discovered you. Wonderful. And with that said, folks, if you enjoyed the content, if you liked what you saw today, if you love this incredible innovation that Clay has brought to the cPDH meta with Murmuring Mystic and Vidalcan Aether Mage and Step Through and Shipwreck Dowser and this incredible tutor package that you can put in any blue deck and the revival of an oldie and a goodie, make sure to leave us a comment if you have any feedback or if you just want to feed the algorithm. All that stuff makes a massive difference. We've had a huge influx of people in the last couple of weeks because the algorithm is finally picking up what we're putting down and it's putting us in the recommended panel on the side of people's YouTube. And that is huge. So if you want your friends and you want other people to see this content, to learn about competitive Pauper Commander or just Pauper Commander in general, that's a really great way that you can help us that is totally free to you. So spam that comment section, leave us a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you want notifications. And that's a great way to support us. The other way is we have a burgeoning patronage. That's the word. So if you would like to support Clay and I on Patreon, the way to do it here is through patreon.com/common connoisseurs, where we have multiple different memberships for you to choose from. We want to make it really accessible to everybody. So if you don't have a ton of money or if you just, maybe things are a little tight right now, this is a great way you can do it. That's like half the cost of a cup of coffee every month. That gets you access to the exclusive members only part of the Discord channel, supporters section of the Discord channel. We also have a $5 a month and a $10 a month option. The $10 a month option gives you all of the interfaces you see here with your name in it. So if you want to do streaming yourself, maybe you like to hang out in Discord and talk with your friends and show them what you're doing at the same time, you can pair this with OBS and you can do all the things that we do here, or we can get you fast-tracked in making your own content. We've just added a new reward. Oh yeah, what's up, Clay?
I'd like to plug also as well, it's not listed here because it's not Patreon, but another way you can support the Discord is you can boost.
Oh, great point. Yeah, I always forget to mention that. We are so close to getting our level 3 in Discord, which comes with a whole bunch of cool a whole bunch of cool spicy benefits that you
Features
and everybody else
for the
get.
server.
Yep,
Yep.
features for the server. So that's a great thing to do too. That is a great form of support as well. We love that. If you have extra boosts because you have Nitro, maybe you've got one or two sitting around, that's a great way to help us. Adam says, just got back in time to send off. I'll have to watch the recap. Yeah, we've done some cool stuff. I think this is a great list. And I think it's something I'm proud of. So, but one of
You
the
might
things
even see it Friday.
you might even see it Friday. That's right. That's what we do. That is the schedule. So Friday we play the thing we built. Um, then the last thing I want to mention is we recently added a new feature, and that is to the aficionado, which is early and exclusive access and participation in pre-Let's Build live stream threads, which means when I bring on one of our great co-hosts like Brewbear or Derek or Scarecrow or Clay, you're going to see the conversation with those people in Discord, in the supporters only part of the Discord, before the video airs, which means you will be able to participate in helping us make the deck prior to the video coming out. And this is something I'm really excited to introduce to you all. We're also going to be ramping up the voting on a Let's Build once a month and early access to recorded and edited videos. So this is a great way to support us. We also have a $20 and a $50 a month if you feel so inclined, which comes with once a month coaching and guaranteed games with myself. In the future, it'll be with me. And other members of the Discord, which will then get turned into edited content that we'll be posting. So consider supporting us here if you'd like to. And with that, I would like to take a moment to swap us over here.
Real quick.
There we go.
Oh, see. So you
Yep.
can bring up the Patreon.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So we don't dox people, you know. So I want to take a chance to thank all of our patrons for their really generous contributions to our project. We've got Jared, Dax, the PDH Pod, Sanctuary PDH, Eric, Adgan, Zach, Scooby, Chris, Mizu, William, Paul, Corey, Derek, Ian, and of course our longest running patron, Noyark. Thank you all so much for your contributions. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us today. Clay, thank you so much for joining me on this epic Let's Build. This one was really, really fun. This was awesome.
Absolutely.
And it won't be long before we have you back on again. That's for damn sure.
Well, we're averaging about once a month, right?
Yeah, that seems perfectly reasonable. So
yeah, so Ryan and I almost exactly 1 month to the day. Ryan and I will be in Vegas. Your boy got a creator pass, and I've doled out my 2 extras one to Ryan and one to another special guest, which we'll reveal later.
Well, should we? I mean, we've done this. This is a thing we can talk about. Yeah. So Chris from One More Games MTG is the first person that we have added as our new server partner. And this is a status that we are allocating to really special members of the community that we have like really shared alignment with and shared values with. And we wanted to elevate those people because we feel that bringing the whole of cPDH, it benefits us because it means more people searching for cPDH in general. But it benefits their channels too. And it's also growing the format as a whole. And we see the rising waters and we see that it raises all ships. So I want to thank Chris for accepting our offer on that. He's going to be bringing games into the server. He's going to be making content from the server. He's got his own autonomy. It's his own channel. We're not controlling anything there. It's just a way to elevate his content and to associate it with our brand. So
because Chris produces a myriad of different content for formats, various formats and what have you, having access to the LFG in our server and being able to ping people for games ensures that he has consistency and availability for people to play for that Pauper Commander related content that he's making.
Absolutely.
So he gets the benefit of that. We get the benefit of having more games. Plus, I mean, if you've ever met the guy,
that's the core thing. We elevated him in this position and we gave him that recognition because he's a swell human. And I can't help it. You just can't help but be a great dude. And that's what's really important to us. So we wanted to associate with people who have those shared values. If you want to find his content, you can go into LINKTREE there to One More Game, where you can find his Mox field, you can find his Twitter, his YouTube, all that stuff. So, but with that, we've done a lot of plugging, we've done a lot of thanking, a lot of gratitude. It's always good to end strong with the free thing. It's always free to express gratitude. It's a great way to make yourself a happier person. So we've got one more, and that is thank you all for joining us today. and for supporting content like this. It's been a real pleasure. The activity in the chat today was electric. So much commentary. And I really just thank you. Thank you for joining us. And with that, connoisseurs of fine common cardboard, we're about to sign off. Hope to catch you on the battlefield. Peace out, my friends.